Nobody wants to be there.
It's a big bad show tonight.
Just can't take this damn parade. Who cares? Joe, there's a 2-mile wait to get past the damn green line.
Anyone who gets hit by a bear in the neighborhood, call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray.
First time I ever met Joe Murray was at a Hooters.
Welcome in, 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Full show tonight, everybody. How you doing? Where do we start tonight? We're awaiting the opponent. The Celtics will play the New York Knicks or the Detroit Pistons, which get underway in just about a half hour. So we'll have our eyes on that all night long. There's plenty of Celtic stuff out there today. Awards, ownership stuff. Oh, Shams is bringing up stuff that isn't even being reported. It's just something we already all know. So we'll get into that. Patriots. Drake May spoke. You know what today is? Gonna be May. Yes. Did you hear it enough today? Did you know that it was May 1st? Has anybody told you it's May 1st? If not, happy May 1st. We'll hear from Drake May today on the show. I haven't really dug into the draft picks because I was here the night of the draft, the day after the draft, the weekend of the draft, the Sunday after the draft, talking about the draft. So really, I haven't done much draft stuff on the night show because, well, quite frankly, I'm drafted out. But let's look into it a little bit more tonight as we have more time. Full shows tonight, tomorrow night as well. Skaz is here. We got our intern, Josh. It's his final night tonight. And, well, he's a huge New York Knicks fan, so that should be fun to watch. And we're going to have him on late night to say goodbye. So appreciate everyone's help. Our interns are over. We had Trent on last night. He's over. Tonight's Josh's last night. So thank you to all our interns for what they've done for us here on the night show. Where to lead off tonight, it's the Red Sox who get underway. They're playing in Toronto. And, you know, haven't done a lot of Red Sox stuff, A, because they go up against us, but B, what is there to really talk about? But last night's game, I think, was something to take a look at. You just heard Maz on the Baseball Reporters. One thing he's been consistent about, Baseball Hour, excuse me. One thing he's been pretty consistent about is if they don't hit, they don't win, and that's a fact. Last night, they give you a 6-run cushion. You got a good performance from Lucas Giolito, making his first start where it hasn't looked good, by the way, down in the minors. Makes his first start, does well. I'm almost curious did they leave him in too long? I know it was 66 pitches and he came back in and gave up a couple of home runs, but I don't know. Has Cora's options when it comes to pitching been great? Has he been doing a great job with that? I don't know if I've seen enough yet, but here's my opening take. It's May 1st. What does this mean for the Red Sox now? What does the history say of the Red Sox on May 1st? And if we look at their record right now, and again, I haven't been impressed. I had high expectations this year. I actually thought they'd go over their win total, but they're 17-15, which I guess is pedestrian, right? I thought they'd be better than that. They've beat up on the White Sox, I guess. They've got nothing from Tanner Houck, who goes tonight. I don't know what the hell is going to happen with him, so should be fairly interesting. But 17-15, 32 games, right? So May 1st, we got a couple more games to go before they get to 40 games. I mean, I guess, is that a good barometer there? Right? Is that like a quarter of the season? Well, what's the Red Sox records? You know, from 03 to 24, the Red Sox have had at least 23 of their 23 wins in 40 games 11 times. They went to the playoffs in 10 of those 11 seasons. The only year they missed the playoffs when they've done that is 2006. In the 11 seasons in which they've won 22 or fewer in their first 40 games, they made the playoffs once in 2017. So, they have 17 wins at the moment. What are the chances they actually break through here and get to that number? And just since 2012, right, when the expanded playoff format happened, they've won at least 23 of their first 40 games 4 times, making the playoffs each season. So they got about a week to go here to figure things out. It's not over yet. The playoffs are still in reach. They're still capable of doing this. In the 9 seasons in which they've had 22 or fewer in their first 40, they've missed the playoffs in all 8 of 9 seasons. So I guess it's an outlier of which direction they're going to go in. But 22 and a half wins, over or under, it's important. So here it is. Just going back to some of the years that they've made the playoffs, 23 or more. 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, 13, 16, 18, 21. The only year they missed the playoffs was 06. But when they have fewer than 22, they've only made the playoffs once, and that was 2017. They're 17 and 15 after 32 games. Can they go 6-2 their next 8 games in order to reach that 23-win mark? Is it likely they go 4-4 during that stretch? And what happens today? Walker Buehler sent back to Boston. Christian Campbell not playing tonight with a rib injury. Still waiting on Connor Wong, but Narvaez is hitting. Yasmani Grandal still wants to stick around and thinks he has a shot here. But what's more likely for this Red Sox team? If you look at their schedule, they get Toronto tonight. They get a final game against them, but Tanner Houck's been awful. Then you get 3 games versus Minnesota, 3 versus Texas. Then you go to Kansas City, Detroit, Atlanta, the Mets. Like, I know people want to use July 4th sometimes or Labor Day weekend. I don't know if they get to that 23-win plateau. I don't. Do I think they're a playoff team right now? No. You know why? Pitching. Their hitting is too sporadic. And I do want to get into Tristan Casas, who again was benched last night, pinch hit for. And all the talk right now is, and I know people are excited about it, right? The young prospects. Young prospects. And just to throw that out there, when do you see Roman Anthony? When do you see Marcelo Mayer? Could Tristan Casas actually be sent back down to Worcester to work on his swing? Yet those guys are here. And you remember when Tristan Casas made a comment about the 3 young guys in Boston? None of them were ready to make the team. What's more likely right now? Casas being here long term this year, or Anthony and Meyer? It's just completely ironic what's happened to this kid, the pitching staff, and the hitting that you thought was going to be good. There's too many inconsistencies with the Red Sox, and I'm not trying to be negative. It's just fact. Do I think that they can go 6-2 their next 8 games? Yeah, they can. What's more likely? And again, I'm giving you that number. First 40 games, 23 or more, generally they make the playoffs. 22 or under, out. What's more likely here for the Red Sox? We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. And I just wanted to double down on that Tristan Casas take. Those kids in the minors aren't ready yet. You know why he said that? He was scared. The pressure's been on him. He hasn't been able to perform. And quite frankly, I think they're ready to go. He doesn't. He might be the one down there working on his while they're up here. How ironic. All right, we'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. I do want to kind of get into last night's game as well. What a debacle last night's loss was. Horrible. We'll get into that coming up, and then we'll get into the Celtics, Patriots as well. We got Mike Cadlick from Sports Illustrated tonight. We got Kyle Irving from Underdog. We'll get some NBA thoughts as well. We're here until 11 o'clock tonight. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Wendy's has this new bold Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich, and I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. I hope it likes me back for a sandwich.
haven't been able to really pay attention to them. There's been a lot going on between the draft and Celtics playoff. But early on, they couldn't hit. They've had some good nights, though. They're still the worst defense in baseball. 28 errors still. Still. How? How is that? I thought that was supposed to be better there. That's why the whole Rafael Devers thing happened. How are they still the worst defense in baseball? I'm trying to be positive about the Red Sox. It's really hard. Last night. Here we go. Last night. 6-0 lead. Giolito has a good night. Here comes Garrett Whitlock, who, for the most part, the bullpen's been okay. 7 unanswered runs. The bullpen absolutely collapsed last night. And I want to get into some offensive numbers after the 6th inning that are just real. But Cora last night basically comes out and says it was a rough loss. He didn't want to discount Giolito's addition to the rotation, blah, blah, blah. Said he did an outstanding job. He's upset about the way it ended. But Whitlock has posted a 1.72 ERA through 10 relief appearances and then literally let the game unravel last night in the 7th. 2 outs, 2 men on. Santander unloaded a changeup. I've said this before. Throw the gas, not the ass. Is that the first time I've said that this year, Skez?
Maybe this season.
Again, changeup, hung over the plate, ties it with a 3-run homer. Throw the gas, not the ass. 6-0 lead. Giolito gives up a pair. Whitlock comes in, who's been really good, and then just throws whatever the bullet ball over the plate. 3-run homer. Yeah, he had a clean 8th, and Chapman had a clean 9th. Justin Slayton comes in, who's been good in the 10th, and, well, he loads the bases up, and then boom. Bing, bang, bop, bing, bang, bing, bang, boom. Horrible. Horrible. And it's true. The numbers after the 6th inning are bad. So I talk about the starters, Like, how are the starters? And, they're just pitching's not good enough right now. But there are these numbers here regarding their hitting. This season, the Red Sox have scored 103 runs in the first 5 innings. But only 61 runs from the 6th inning on. Why is that? How is that? And I mentioned the pitching staff. Well, they've allowed 74 runs in the first 5 innings and 74 runs from the 6th inning on. Why can't the Red Sox hit after the 6th inning? Is it pressure? Is it drive line? Is it maybe some of the pinch hitting? Managerial moves? Do they just crap under pressure? What is it? There's got to be a thing for that. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's tough to watch, to be honest with you. Do you know Toronto had lost 8 of 9 games entering last night? You knew that, guys? I didn't know that.
2-8 in their last 10.
Oh. So a 6-run lead, you would assume the win probability would be very high?
One would hope, Joe. One would hope.
Why do you think the Red Sox can't hit after the 6th inning?
I heard Mavs talking about this a little bit earlier, that they struggle to hit fastballs. They struggle to hit anything over 95, 96 miles an hour. And the later you get in these games, they bring in these specialists, these late guys, these closers, relievers. They're throwing gas, Joe, not the ass, as you would say.
So the other teams are throwing the gas.
And the Red Sox can't catch up right now, it seems.
And the Red Sox pitchers are throwing the ass. So the Red Sox can't hit the gas.
According to Maz, that's what the numbers are saying. Can't catch up.
So the great analysis that I have given, the other teams are taking against the Red Sox.
I would prefer my baseball team hit fastballs, but maybe that's too much to ask.
When's that changed in your... I'm 43 years old. Dead fastball down the middle of the plate. Barrel of the bat. See you later, big boy. Right? It was always the other stuff that kind of, you had to watch out for. Curves, slurves, splitters, changeups. Sometimes you spit on the curve, right? Wasn't that like a term? So they can't hit fastballs. Since when? Oh, and then there's Tristan Casas. I mean, the Red Sox really were hoping that guy was poised for a big year. What did he say? 40 home runs? Was that what his prediction was? 40? 40? Because he was hurt last year, right? Casas is hitting 181 through 27 games with 3 homers and 11 RBI. His OPS is 589. There's been some encouraging signs, right? Had back-to-back games with a homer. 3 RBIs in Seattle, if you remember. Had 2 hits the other night against Toronto. Still not good enough. Whenever there's a lefty in, nope, see ya. They basically won't leave him in games against lefties, and he's had success against Brandon Little the other night. He's actually been better against lefties than righties, if you could believe that, and they're still leaving him out of the lineup against lefties. So I don't know when they actually get their best team together. So, theme here that I keep saying, Cora. I wonder if Cora's adjustments aren't working, or, I don't know, defensively, a guy that was a middle infielder who was very good leads the league in errors. Also, the team can't hit fastballs, which was probably something Cora couldn't do either. Like, sometimes the team is only as good as their manager. I know that he's well respected across Major League Baseball. They gave him the extension. He wanted to be here. He's certainly going along with whatever the team is doing as far as their drive line and hitting. But there's just too many inconsistencies with the team, and quite frankly, I think he has too many inconsistencies. But at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to blame the pitching, and we're going to blame the hitters like Tristan Casas. Right? And now with these injuries that are popping up, Walker Buehler, don't worry, it's just a shoulder, don't worry about it. Uh-huh. Heard that one before. May 1st, when do you think we see Buehler again, Skaz? I'm going to say July. They said no, nothing to see here is actually the quote that I saw. Just a little injury. How about this Christian Campbell rib thing? Where'd that come from? It's like one of the hottest rookies in all of baseball, and just They scratched out of nowhere, like an hour before the game? It's just funny, after a bad loss, these things just creep back up, huh? Very, very, very smelly. But again, the best analysis I can give you. Throw the gas, not the ass. 617-779-0985. You got anything else to add, Skaz, on the Red Sox? Because I got nothing else.
No, I think they're unfortunately very average right now. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They have a 500, road record, I believe. I think they're 2 games above 500. They're 8-6 at home or something like that. So yeah, they're a very average baseball team right now.
It's too early for me to do the Cora thing.
I don't think Cora's had a great start to the year.
Or is it?
I'm not a Cora guy, so a little biased there, but I don't think he's had a great start to the year.
Do you think this team takes on the personality of its coach? Manager.
What's the personality?
Inconsistencies. Again, this guy was supposed to be a great fielder.
They still suck in the field. They still suck running the bases.
They can't hit fastballs.
It's been years of them struggling to know how many outs there are in the inning.
Like, the more I think about him as a player, I'm seeing as a team. I know it was 2004, and I know I'm dating myself 20 years. But I'm starting to just wonder if those teams from 18 were just good, led by good players.
I mean, they got some better players this offseason. Bregman's been really good. Campbell's been really good, and I think you've seen wins out of that. But I'm not so sure. I don't know what Alex Cora does, so well that he gets lauded as much as he does. I don't understand it.
I think we agree on this one. All right, listen, we got to get to that 40 game mark, Skaz. Imagine that. That's the number. If you have 23 wins or more by 40 games, generally you're a playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I haven't been watching baseball as much regularly as I had in the past, but when a guy's coming back from injury, getting his first start of the year, you usually take him out in the 6th inning.
66 pitches. He was rolling.
So now pitch count. Now we're gonna say 66. So now that's a thing.
Why do you always know what I'm gonna say? Is it because we work together a lot? Is that what it is?
We're on the same page.
Yeah. They've done this to other guys where they like, hey, why didn't you leave him in longer? Hey, we wanted him to
Garrett
leave.
Crochet early in the year.
Wanted to leave on a positive note, right?
Yep. But Lucas Giolito, let's hang him out to dry.
And I gave you the Whitlock numbers. They were good. Like, I don't want to sit here and crap on Whitlock. What I'm going to crap on Whitlock about is throwing a changeup and hanging it over the middle of the plate. Throw the gas. Gas. And you know what? I didn't love the Chapman move. But you know what he does? Throws gas. He actually throws gas. The Weiser kid throws gas. I know he blew it. He loaded the bases. I mean, what can you do? There's already a guy on second base anyways. You ever thought about that? Wouldn't you just walk the first guy every time? Like,
there's probably some nerds out there that'll say that's,
This is what my brain's doing now. I'm like, oh, well, if there's a guy already on second, why don't you just put somebody on first, get a little double play action? But then what happens is if that doesn't work, then they got bases loaded, and then kind of like what happens last night. All right, well, if you want to talk about the Red Sox, you can. I left Justin on hold the other night. I got to go back to you. What's up, Justin? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Joe. I just have a thought on the Red Sox. The Red Sox are very average right now, Joe, and they're concerning me with the way they really have been a slow-selling team. The Scavs is right. They're absolutely pathetic right now, and they need to get the pitching better. And I have a thought on this Celtics next opponent. I either want the Knicks or the Pistons. Show your thoughts, bud.
Well, who do you like, Pistons or
I
New York?
think I'd rather have the Pistons, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, the NBA, I think, really wants New York. New York, Boston semifinal in. I think the Pistons would be a more difficult matchup for the Celtics. The only thing on that one is I think the Celtics can go right into Detroit and take care of business, but didn't that happen already this year and that didn't work going in their direction? So, Cora. What's Brian and Auburn think of Cora?
Hey, yeah, I'm just not a Cora guy. I mean, ever since he was cheating down in Houston, he's just not a good coach. And you have a great point about his defense. Like, how are they not top 5 in defense? They're at the bottom of the league. He was an infielder and great hands, great player, and just the team just doesn't play at all like him. It's kind of annoying.
Oh, I didn't even bring up the old cheating stuff.
But just to his point, like we were told this offseason, they were the worst defensive team or, one of the worst defensive teams. And a big part of that was because they had the worst defensive third baseman in baseball, Rafael Devers. And this would change things now that Devers isn't playing third base anymore. Well, Devers has been your DH and you still stink in the field. So what is it now? What is the new, excuse or reasoning behind it?
Yeah, why? You got Bregman at third.
You got Rafaela out there.
Trevor Story's been healthy.
For defensive reasons. He's been good. He's made some incredible plays, but he hit a blunder the other night.
Who leads the team in errors, you think? It's probably Bregman, right?
I was going to say Cassis. I don't know.
Oh, God. He stinks. You know what the thing with Cassis is? I don't know if they can allow him to continue to be ass.
Bregman has 5 errors.
Okay.
Trevor Story has 4.
Okay.
Duran and Campbell have 3. Cassis is 2.
So Campbell, I can.
He gets a pass.
I'm fine with. Yeah, it's Bregman. I guess that's probably the. What do you think Devers would have had?
7, 8 already? I don't know.
How do you feel about Devers right now?
Better. I feel better about him as of late. I still think they deserve criticism for how it was handled and how he started the season, though. If Alex Cora is who Red Sox fans tell me is, that he's the player whisperer, that he's the guy that you have around to communicate with the players, between management, and that's his real benefit, is that he's connects with the guys. Didn't see that connection with Rafael Devers at the start of the season.
Him and Story at the top of the lineup, or right in that middle of the lineup there, striking out way too much. They got to figure something out there. Campbell's struck out a lot too. But again, this is what happens when you play a rookie at second base and start him. He's going to strike out a lot. I do think Jarren Duran's strikeout number is a little too high, especially for a leadoff hitter. So, but the most impressive guy to me has been Abreu. He's batting cleanup tonight, which I would think about. I would think about legitimately batting Cassis 8. Move Story down a little bit too. Anyways, 40 games, everybody. 22.5's the number. If they're under 23, they're not making the playoffs. If they're over 23, they're making the playoffs.
We'll have the full baseball boys, I believe, in tomorrow night, Friday night. Milliken and McCarthy should be in with Maz. Interested to see where they are at this point in the season.
Just to give you that 23 number I keep talking about, if you start the season 23-17, you're on pace for 92 wins. If you win 21 games, you're on pace for 84.
Yeah, and the Red Sox have gotten kind of lucky over this last stretch. They're 5-5 in their last 10, but they've been playing, the Blue Jays and these teams that are not great. And the Yankees are 5-5, and you're only a game and a half behind the Yankees. It's early. It's way too early to be, diving into the MLB standings, but games against teams like the Blue Jays are ones that have cost you in the past, have kept you out of the playoffs or kept you out of contention in the past, where you struggle against, the Blue Jays or the Orioles or the Rays. Like, these are the games they need to be winning.
They need a big outing from Tanner Houck. So far, I told you, he threw the ball almost at the backstop. He's out of 2 innings right now. Scoreless, so let's talk to Mac. Mac is on the line. We pull him up here. What's up, Mac?
Hey, what's going on, Joe? I was I'm a little bit of a change of topic. I was just curious about your thoughts on the Luka Doncic Lakers disaster this past week, where everyone was saying, Lakers in 5 and this and that, and how they were just going to smoke everyone. And I mean, man, they got obliterated. And I think that whole series is proof that you just can't do it with 2 or 3 guys anymore. You need a complete team. They were starting Dorian Finney-Smith at center, and it just astounds me that people thought they had a serious shot to win it all with just such a horrible supporting cast.
All right, dude. We'll get into that. It's a good night if you're a Boston fan last night. Montreal went down. Lakers went down. Warriors got blown out.
I don't think last night was such a bad night for the Lakers.
All right, save that thought. We'll get into that. Celtics are waiting their opponent. Who's it going to be, brother? We'll tell you who it could be. And, Shams today comes out with a report. Was it even a report? Was it a report? So, Skaz, I'm looking ahead for the future of the Celtics after this season.
Oh, we're skipping the playoff run. I saw a lot of people doing that today online. Just skipping right over the playoffs.
Skipping right over it.
It's my favorite part of the season, Joe. We're just jumping it.
Skipping right over it. Because, man, the things I heard today. And it's so funny because, like, real reporters like Noah Dalzell and people are like, hey, this isn't like news. We've known We've
been talking about this for months.
But Sham says it, and it's like, woo.
And the part, and I think Noah was onto this as well, is that this was a topic of discussion, regardless of the sale of the team. I think we all felt this way, that this was something that was on the horizon. So, yeah, the timing is always very funny with these things.
Oh, yeah. All right, we'll get into some Celtic stuff coming up next. And, it's everywhere. Everybody's talking about the new sale, the ownership group. We'll get into that next here after the headline.
Sports Hub Headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, well, the Celtics sale has been finalized by Bill Chisholm. I don't know where he got the money, but he did. I wonder if he got any from Pegs. I'd like to know that one. Celtics await the winner of tonight's New York Knicks-Pistons game. Clippers, Nuggets, they're the other game tonight, and we should mention Drew Holiday got the Sportsmanship Award. Playing a bunch of playoff games tonight. No score between the Leafs and Senators. Can Allmark get them to a Game 7? I took the Pistons. I also just drank some honey. These damn allergies. What do? What do I do? I sleep. I take medication. I don't talk to anybody. What do I do? There's been less marijuana consumption. I don't know what else to do, Skess. So I just drank some honey during the break. Maybe it will loosen me up a little bit. I know you put some honey in your tea every once in a while back there.
Oh, yeah. That'll help you out, Joe.
Somebody wants to know if Kyrie Irving is going to take calls tonight when we have him on.
Kyle Irving. Just a couple letters off. Yeah, it happens often.
He'll be on later on tonight from Underdog. We'll get national perspective. So, yeah, right now, New York leads 16-8 over Detroit. It's early on. I know. We should just have a Josh Cam tonight. Just him. And what he's got going on over there.
Like a picture-in-picture.
Yeah, literally. He keeps raising his hands. I was talking about McDonald's. I don't know if he was excited about that or New York, who just scored again. They must have scored 10 straight points. No, 9-0 run, Joe Math. So, we had Zach Cox on last night from the Herald, and, well, he goes, why new report on Celtics offseason trade interest shouldn't surprise us. Is this a new report? Can we hear what do you have that, Shams? Is this a new report, everybody? Is this really, really new that new ownership has taken over, which, by the way, it is going to go through, which I'm a little surprised about. Where do you get the money? I don't know. But no matter how the current playoff run ends, the Celtics could look different next season. Like, that's true. They got a star-studded roster. But the quote was that the rest of the league could be bracing themselves. Let's hear that.
Right now, Boston is fully focused on winning a championship. Like, that is the number one focus, repeating. But I can tell you, the rest of the league is bracing for some level of change to come to the Celtics from their roster this offseason. And, you know, sources have been telling me for weeks now that the Celtics will be exploring trade options in the offseason. This team, this iteration just is not going to be sustainable for this team. And no one around the organization, from players to staffers, would be surprised if there are changes coming to this roster. Because when you think about the new collective bargaining agreement, there's restrictions that come with trades. There's restrictions that come with freezing of draft picks. That's all stuff that they're dealing with right now. They have 5 players right now scheduled to make $28 million or more next season. That's a league record. So they would have a salary bill of $500 million. That would be league history amount. And I think the Celtics knew when they traded for Jrue Holiday and they traded for Kristaps Porzingis, they'd be staring at this in the face this summer.
Yeah, we knew that. We knew that. So it's not necessarily the bill, the tax bill. Like, people keep talking about that. It's not the $500 million. That is not the issue, and it's not me speaking. It's when Grossbeck went on the other station there and basically said the quote, unattainable for a team to consistently surpass the second apron. He said that, not me. He did. I didn't hear it. I just saw it somewhere. It's not the luxury tax bill, Grossbeck said in March. It's the basketball penalties. The new CBA was designed by the league to stop teams from going crazy. They decided it was not good enough to go after the wallets because the fans can be like, hey, find someone who can afford to spend $500 million a year, like the English Premier League. The basketball penalties mean that even more of a premium now, and you have to have a brilliant mind as your general manager. You can't stay in the second apron. Nobody will. He also says, I predict for the next 40 years of the CBA, no one is going to stay in the second apron for more than 2 years. Does that mean they'll look to move players this offseason? Doesn't mean they will. Porzingis is set to make $30 million next year. He's missed 75 of 164 games. Holiday will be 35 and will be making $32 million next year. They're not trading Tatum and Brown. They've locked up Derek White for a 4-year, $125 million contract. Sam Hauser could be traded. He's worth $10 million next year. I don't know. Could 6th man of the year Peyton Pritchard net you something on a simple $8.5 million contract the next 3 seasons. So I wanted to look ahead for a second here, Skess. Just for a second. What could the Celtics get for Porzingis? What could they get for Holiday? You can't. The reason why I think they won't trade them is because of the CBA penalties. They are not able to get a player back at $30 million. They can't swap the salaries because they're at the second apron. So what are you going to do? Trade them somewhere to get a lesser player and then draft picks? Like, you're going to trade them for 50 cents on the dollar. Like, if you send, like, you could technically send Drew Holiday to the Lakers for Dalton Connect. Is it a good move for the Lakers? I mean, I don't know. They tried to trade him already. But financially, how does that help them? It just gets them out of the $30 million a year. It makes them a worse team. You just smiled at me.
I think there's a lot of things they could do. And I'm with you that they would be a worse team, especially in the playoffs. But I do think there is something long-term to getting guys that are more reliable than your Porzingis. And not that Holiday hasn't been reliable, but he's been banged up at times. I think they need to get more stable in the regular season. This is all big. We're projecting out long-term, but, Tatum and Brown play way too many minutes. They've been doing it for years. Eventually, it's great to have Porzingis and Holiday and these elite players on your roster, but when you're paying $60 million to 2 guys that are only out there for half the games, a little more than half the games in the regular season, that's taxing on the top half of your roster. So I wonder if you see, and this is something Jay Stu has kind of floated out there, where you see, $60 million go out, and maybe they bring in a $20 million, type player, or $25 million type player, a guy like what the Cavs did with DeAndre Hunter, or the Knicks did with Mikal Bridges. Those guys make $20 million. A Dylan Brooks makes around $20 million. Like, I wonder if you could do that and get someone that's on the court more regularly, and that may help you, keep guys healthy and upright long term.
Like an Amen Thompson?
You're not getting Amen Thompson, Joe. I know.
A lot of cards.
The Thompson twins are phenomenal to watch. They are athletes.
I was just thinking of names, guys.
Yeah, I mean, look at the OKC has a guy like Lou Dort who makes $16.5 million. A player like that's the type of guy you're looking for. The Wolves have Jaden McDaniels, makes $26 million. Like, players like that are probably what you're shopping for.
Like guys that are on the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, I mean, Dejounte Murray makes $29 million. That's probably a little high. Trey Murphy makes $28. But yeah, guys like that, I would say for sure.
Can I give you 2 names? Could Peyton Pritchard start 82 games?
I don't think so, but for a year, probably.
Can Baylor Shireman be a 3 in the NBA?
Like the third best player on a team, or like play the 3?
Position.
Yeah, I think so. You're going to take a hit, but I think he can do it.
And you'll probably bring Cornette and Horford back next year?
I think Horford's back next year. Cornette's back next year. I think going forward, if the reporting we believe to be true, I think you're looking at a core of Tatum, Brown, and Derek White, and then they kind of just fill in the pieces around them, which I'm fine with.
Fine with, too.
Absolutely fine with. But can we watch the playoffs first?
Yes. New York has a 28-17 lead right now. That's 11 points there, Josh. Hopefully they don't choke it away. We'll take a quick break. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Curb appeal matters with your business, so make it more appealing with U.S. Pavement. From Maine to Rhode Island, Worcester to Cape Cod, it's U.S. Pavement for paving, seal coating, line striping, and more. USPavement.com or 1-800-PAVEMENT and make it U.S. Pavement solid.
Here's former Boston goaltender Tuukka Rask on treating his hair loss with Leonard Hair.
So, pumped that we picked Will, and we got a chance to meet him when he came in and flew in on Friday. So, pumped to get things going, and obviously, it seems like a football player. That's what you want around here.
Back here on 98.5 The Sports Zone. That was Drake May. It's gonna be May. May Day. May Watch. Can you believe we actually did May Watch segments? I was just watching him on the sideline, what he was doing. I was wondering why he wasn't wearing helmets sometimes. Now he's the starting quarterback, and they've built the team around him. And he still has only won one game. You believe that? But he likes Will Campbell. Will Campbell said he would die for him. Now I'm starting to think of songs. I'd die for you. Whenever I hear him speak, I think of Boomhauer from King of the Hill. Man, oh, daggone, Will Campbell, man, LSU play tackle, man, Did you know that Will Campbell is dating Nussmeier's sister?
I was aware of that. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a good sign, right?
If you're a quarterback,
he's protecting the QB on and off the
field. If you want your sister to date anybody,
the guy that's protecting you
would want the guy to protect you, right?
Why not?
That's like a love story. How come, has that happened? Is Billy Bob? No, Billy Bob didn't date anybody. Ooh, Mox almost stole Lance's girl, though.
I always hear Fred talk about were they Tigers players that swapped wives or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's exactly a love story, but yeah, that's one I'm somewhat familiar with.
Yeah. That's kind of funny. Brian Kelly from Chelsea, Mass? Where the hell is he from? Chelsea, I think.
I think it depends on what team he's coaching at the time.
Yeah, he's got that accent now. By the way, I think Nussmeier is going to be the best quarterback in next year's draft. I know everyone's on Arch. No. Josh shaking his head already. I said it a year ago. So I'm Nussmeier. LSU is my guy. I think he's a pro prospect. All right, this is about Drake May, though. Forget about that. We'll do that one another day. So Drake May spoke a lot. He spoke about Will Campbell. How about Josh McDaniels? What do you say about him?
What's it been like working with Josh McDaniels so far?
Yeah, it's been great. I think the guys last year I really enjoyed, and so far Coach McDaniels, it's been awesome. I think he, his ways, he does it. He's been offensive coordinator, been head coach, does it at a high level. His stuff works. The kind of proof's in the pudding. He's coached a lot of different guys. He coached the best to ever do it, so it's pretty cool getting to watch old things to Tom and see how he does it, and a bunch of different guys play at a high level in the offense. Not just Tom. So it's been cool to watch and kind of learn the ways and learn the kind of ins and outs of it.
They talked about Tom. He coached other quarterbacks after Tom Brady, right?
I'm very much aware of that, Joe.
Who are they? Jared Stidham, Brian Hoyer,
Tim Tebow.
No, it was after Brady. Oh, after Brady? Yeah, it would have been Derek Carr.
Before, after, during, yeah. Can I give you my issues with that statement?
Please.
He says, all the guys last year really loved working with them. He loved working with them so much, he disappeared the second the season ended. And he says Josh McDaniels has been a coordinator at a high level and a head coach at the highest level and succeeded. I would just push back ever so slightly on that last one. I don't know if Josh McDaniels was a head coach, a successful one at the highest level.
So you got an ear for these things. This is what I miss about being a producer. I didn't hear that. Know what my pushback on you is? Serious question. Better head coach, Josh McDaniels or Gerard Mayo?
Gerard Mayo. And I'm not sure it's particularly close, if you want me to be honest with you. Josh McDaniels inherited a very good Broncos team and tore them down to the studs, all by his own volition. And was widely hated and still is by a lot of those players, to the point where You ask guys today, right now, about playing for Josh McDaniels, and they don't want to talk about it. Gerard Mayo was not a very good head coach. He also was in maybe the worst situation in the league with the lack of talent all over his roster. So while I was not the biggest fan of the Gerard Mayo experience, I would say that he was given much less to work with than Josh McDaniels was.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And also just their demeanor as a head coach. Say what you want about Gerard Mayo being too player-friendly or letting go of the rope a little bit. He wasn't widely maligned, and he wasn't like such a tool that his entire team hated him. The Raiders were smoking victory cigars after Josh McDaniels was fired.
We haven't seen Gerard Mayo since that day either. Ooh, Skaz, that's a good one. Better coach, head coach, Josh McDaniels, Gerard Mayo. Now, Gerard Mayo's first season, he went 8-8. But then he got fired after week 13 and 20. So Gerard Mayo made it a full season. McDaniels got fired twice mid-season. One mid-season, one 13 weeks.
And he quit on the tarmac one time, too.
And he got caught cheating and manipulating the draft and salary cap. Oh, that's right. He walked back on the Colts, right, too? Ooh, wow.
He also borderline sucked as an offensive coordinator without Tom Brady, except for one mirage year with Mac Jones where he didn't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. So I would just pump the brakes a little bit. Look at Sam Bradford with Josh McDaniels if you want to dig into those stats.
I mean, Mayo, you're right. Mayo was not supported well. I think listen, was it bad last year? It was bad. Would it have been better in year 2? You would have had to have thought it was. There were some bad ones by Mayo, though. There's been some really bad ones from McDaniels. And Skaz, the take is this. You and I did not think that Mike Vrabel was the right candidate. The league is generally going towards young offensive minds, right? Duval with Jacksonville. You got dude for the Bears there, Ben Johnson, right? Sean McVay was actually applauding the Patriots draft this year, so I got to give him that. But Mike Vrabel's come in and he put a staff together that I at least like the fact that they have guys they know and there's relationships there. Doesn't mean it's going to win. And as far as their draft, everyone gives them an A, but you still have to develop guys. So the jury's out, but I don't think we talk about Josh McDaniels enough. Like, who was knocking on the door for Josh McDaniels?
Nobody.
And the question remains, what has he done without Bill Belichick and or Tom Brady?
When I'm trying to hire the next guy for my franchise quarterback, the guy I usually go to first is the one nobody else wants. That's got to be the best guy available, right?
That's right, yeah. Mm-hmm. Just being consistent, though, right? Did he talk about Stephon Diggs, too?
Of course, Joe. A little Madden talk.
On his fantasy team, right?
Fantasy Madden, the works, yes. Let me see right here.
Dang old Stephon Diggs, man. You know, man.
What's it like working with Stephon Diggs?
Yeah.
How excited were you when they signed him, and what's it like having him?
Sure. Stephon, he's one of those guys growing up, and when I was in high school, he was a young in the league, and had him on my fantasy team, and things like that. So playing with him in Madden, so it's pretty cool to hopefully, now this season been thrown to him. He's coming back, obviously from injury, and looks like he's doing great. He's been around, and I think it's going to be cool to throw a receiver who's made plays like he has, who's made big plays in playoff games, who's been in a lot of different schemes, who's played with high-level quarterbacks to see kind of his point of view from different stuff, and it's my job to give him a chance and go get it. So.
And Stephon Diggs has responded on Instagram with a fork, knife, napkin, and eyes.
They're going to be eaten. Stephon Diggs known for his great rapport with his quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any problems coming to fruition here.
So you mean to tell me Josh McDaniels stinks, Mike Vrabel's not an offensive mind, and they're bringing in a receiver that works so well with quarterbacks. Yet he was in high school playing him on Madden, and now they're teammates. But what could possibly go wrong? We should ask Mike Cadlick this. I also want to ask Mike Cadlick about McDaniels versus Mayo. It's almost a good social.
Who would you rather have if you had to hire one as the head coach of your football team tomorrow?
It's really painful.
I think it's Mayo, and it's not close.
It's such a painful question.
What upcoming offensive coordinator is going to sign up to work with Josh McDaniels? Maybe because you're like, oh, he can teach me something, but what does he know outside of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick? He tried to bring the Patriots way to Denver, and they hated him for it.
And the Raiders. Oh, when I went to Allegiant Stadium for WrestleMania, no one had a good... The only person that they liked was Jacoby Myers.
Great player. Good player.
It was like the only person... Everyone's like, yeah, Jacoby's awesome. They're like, he helped us in a game, too, when he threw the... And I was like, yeah. And I was like, how do you feel about Josh McDaniels? And everyone... I hope this man isn't listening. But I met a guy who works for the Raiders. And I go, hey, you wearing your Raiders? It's like, yeah, I work for the people in relations. And I go, oh, okay. I work for the Pats Radio Network. And he goes, oh, I know Robin. And I went, oh, Robin Glazier. He goes, it's really sad what they did to her. And I was like, what they did to her? What'd they do to her?
617-779-0985. Feel free to call in.
I go, what'd they do to her? And he goes, well, she's not there anymore. I go, I know, but what'd they do? I thought she resigned. What'd they do to her? Uh-oh. Was that an off-the-record conversation? I don't even know who the guy is. She did resign, right? That was the story? I guess we'll ask Mike Cadlick. Throw it on his shoulders. We'll do that next here on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray.
I'm doing more than well. How are you doing, my friend?
More than well. What do you got going on?
Nothing. I'm actually working a Sports Illustrated shift right now, but I also have some ice cream in my hand as well, so that's what's making the day that much better.
Did you know that I just brought ice cream up on the air? Well, in our
I did not, actually. Usually I am tuning in, especially before I come on, but I actually missed out. What are you talking about ice cream for?
Well, I said how my voice is. I have the Vegas flu.
Okay.
I went to Vegas, and since I've come back, I've been fighting.
Sounds about right.
Everything in my life.
Sure.
But I really, really, really want a watermelon sherbet ice cream with chocolate sprinkles.
Interesting. So you go watermelon with chocolate.
Chocolate sprinkles, yes.
Interesting. Okay. That's
now,
I don't know if I would.
If I was in Dedham, where you're from, are you still in Dedham? I don't even know.
I'm actually, me and the fiance live in Norwood now.
Wow.
It's a big rivalry too. I know. Can you believe it?
Jeez. So,
do
you still go to Ron's?
I do go to Ron's. Ron's is still number one.
Yeah.
That's a Hyde Park thing as well. Hyde Park and Dedham.
Ron and Jay Covets were my first sponsor I ever had in radio. Did you know that?
Oh, no shit.
Dump
drop them. Damn it.
Are you serious?
Oh, rookie mistake.
Is that the first time we've ever had a guest who did that or no? See, this is a Joe problem here because the callers get too comfortable with me.
I got dumped.
We dumped you. Now your fiance's like, why are you overreacting like that, right?
Am I back?
No, you're good. We're good. Don't worry.
Okay, all right. Sorry.
You owe Skaz on that one.
I haven't been dumped since I was across the street.
I know. Was that a year?
Jeez.
They dumped you on draft day. Could you believe that?
No, not that dumped. Yeah, we're over a year removed from that dump, Joe. That's so funny.
A little zing, a little zang, right?
It was the anniversary last Wednesday.
I know. Can you believe that? And now here you are calling in on 98.5 The Sports. I've been working at Sports Illustrated.
Look at that. Not a bad. That's how you fail upwards. There
you go. So Drake May today. Happy camper, huh?
Yeah, he's it's funny with Bill Belichick in the news right now, someone who is very good at the media thing, saying a lot but not actually revealing a ton. Drake May has definitely gotten into that sort of mojo where, he says a lot, he says the right things, he answers questions with a smile on his face. But then when myself and co-host Taylor Kyles kind of come out of the meeting and we're like, okay, what do we talk about? He doesn't really say much. He just kind of uses the cookie cutter, we're working hard, we're loving it, I'm enjoying Josh McDaniels, blah, blah, blah. So there's not really much to, dice up about it, but he does sound ready to go and definitely looking forward to watching year 2 of Drake May here.
All right, Mike. I want a serious question from you. This is why I wanted to have you on tonight. Give me something that you didn't like about the Patriots draft.
Oh, okay. This one's, I actually have a couple of things. Maybe 2. We'll go with 2. 2 things that I didn't like about the Patriots draft. Number 1 was drafting a running back as high as they did. Now, Travion Henderson, obviously, great player, third down back, can catch the ball out of the backfield fast, great in pass protection, was actually dubbed someone who could be like a 6th offensive lineman because he's that good in pass pro. But I've just always been anti-running back. That's kind of my philosophy. So I just think with the value of the position and the way that you kind of, it's not good to pay these guys and then they end up coming up with contracts and you got to get rid of them, yada, yada, yada. I'd rather kind of churn them out in the 3rd, later rounds type thing, especially with other needs along the offensive line, wide receiver. So I wasn't a fan of that one. Even though I do like Henderson, I think he'll be pretty solid. They also end up getting a good haul the rest of that day, right? So the way that Kyle Williams fell to them in the 3rd round, they picked him up, and then they traded back twice, end up with Jared Wilson. It ended up working out in their favor, so I didn't hate it as much as I did when it originally happened, but I'm still not huge on drafting running backs that high. And then the other one, quick, is just the special teams. I know they hit most of their holes with wide receiver, 2 tackles, and a guard, but drafting kickers, especially even 7th round and then drafting a long snapper, just doesn't seem like great asset management to me when you can get these guys in undrafted free agency and still hit on guys who can, make the team and make make an impact. So wasn't a huge fan of those picks. But, I mean, granted, other than that, I think they pretty much knocked out of the park.
All right, talking to Mike Cadlick, SICLNS. Skaz and I just had a great segment. Who would you rather have as your head coach? Gerard Mayo or Josh McDaniels?
Oh, man. That's tough. I still probably lean Josh McDaniels. He's proven to...
What? Proven what?
Proven to be able to coach at least something in the NFL at a high level, and that's quarterbacks and calling offenses. Where
go ahead, Skaz. Go get him.
I was going to say that's Tom Brady.
I suppose. So Skaz takes Mayo then. Skaz, are you on Team Mayo here?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Interesting. Okay.
What has Josh McDaniels done as a head coach?
Josh McDaniels has done absolutely nothing as a head coach. Don't get me wrong. He has been an utter disaster as a head coach. He's gone into two places, tried to turn it into, do your job, Bill Belichick land, and in both places failed miserably. But he's still at least done something in coaching, and that is, yes, of course, guys, I'm with you on the Tom Brady aspect, but, he also took Mac Jones, who clearly was in decline and just not a great player towards the back end of his career in New England, and he turned him into a playoff quarterback as a rookie. And the same with Cam Newton his year in New England, where Cam Newton was clearly shot. He couldn't throw a football anymore. He built an offense around him and made it work relatively
but
and
who
to
was
win
the head
8
coach?
games.
But who was the head coach?
Of course, it was Bill Belichick. So,
he's done nothing without Belichick or Brady ever.
Okay, but what has Gerard Mayo done?
Okay, but here's the deal.
Ever.
Well,
he's at least done something. Gerard's never done anything.
They won 4 games with 0 support.
Okay.
And all I'm trying to say is everyone's Drake May's so excited to work with Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels he's as an offensive coordinator. He's not excited to work with him as a head coach.
But he's never been an offensive coordinator without Brady and or Belichick.
That's not true. Oh, without Belichick, yeah, of course.
Yes,
okay.
And or Belichick. Go ahead, Skaz.
Well, he was an offensive coordinator for Sam Bradford and the Rams.
Louis, how'd that go, Skaz?
Terribly. Sam Bradford had a very good rookie year. I would say a much better rookie year than Drake May had. And then Josh McDaniels was brought in to be his offensive coordinator, and Sam Bradford had maybe his worst season as a pro in that second year. So that's just what I'm going off of.
I'm not going to, and I don't, it's a great point, and I'm not going to sit here and necessarily try and argue the other end, but I look at it, and Josh McDaniels is at his best when his power is checked, and when he only has to be an OC, and he doesn't, he essentially has someone above him who he trusts and respects and can fully figure out the offense. And that's what it was like with Bill Belichick, where Bill kept him in check. He was also the head coach of the offense. I don't know anything that went on in St. Louis when it was St. Louis in 2011, and if there was anything as far as what he tried to do and with Spagnuolo and things of that nature. But I look at what he has with Mike Vrabel now, and I think, okay, there should be a decent understanding of a power dynamic and who does what and when and why. And I still trust McDaniels to be able to call an offense and fit an offense around Drake May, who, again, as we know, Drake May has all the talent in the world and just needs a good supporting system around him, which I think they've brought in with personnel. Until Josh McDaniels doesn't work in New England, I'll trust it. Maybe that's bad on my part, but I've always sort of thought that Josh has done a good job with what's been put around him, at least here, and can sort of put together an offense around a quarterback with a good skill set.
All right, talking to Mike Cadlick here, CLNS. Man, when you come on, we grill you, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm for it. I like it.
What else should we be talking about? We had the draft. Will Campbell, what do you think?
So, I like it. I think they did what they had to do at the pick and at the position. I was not in love with it. I'm still not entirely sold on it. I think honestly, I think his best quality is his intangibles and his leadership qualities and what he brings as just a football guy. And frankly, I don't think that's necessarily worthy of the 4th overall pick. But nothing else really was that worthy of the 4th overall pick at that position anyway, because of the imbalance of this draft and how top heavy it was with really just Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. So if they had the first pick, and again, I can't sit here, and I've probably talked about this on this show with you guys before, like I would never have asked Gerard Mayo and Joe Milton to try and lose that Week 18 game, but that's the position they were put in. They fell to the 4th pick. Yeah, I would much rather have a guy in Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter's an absolute stud and is going to be, and probably is the best player in this class, but they did what they had to do at 4 with Will Campbell. I struggle with best player available at the spot, but I think he was the best player available for what they also needed. I think he can play a decent left tackle, and that's what they need is decent left tackle play because they've had abysmal left tackle play for the last 4 or 5, go back till the last time Tom Brady was here in 2019. So if he does have to eventually move into a guard spot, I think that's still kind of it's not great for a 4th overall pick, but I don't think he has a ton of bust potential, which is obviously promising. So I liked the pick, and the way they filled it out with the rest of the draft makes it that much better of a draft class as a whole.
All right, win total 8.5 right now. Where are you at?
If I had to bet it, I would probably go under. I would probably go under 8 because instead of being as optimistic as I was last year, I'm trying to be more cautiously optimistic. And even as good as this offseason went and as good as, as excited as I am, and I think Patriots fans should be about Mike Vrabel. And this is, me and Taylor on Patriots Daily on CLNS had Mike Renner of CBS Sports on earlier this week, and he kind of put me onto this idea a little bit, but think about it this way. The Patriots won 4 games last year. If everything goes really well for this team, as in Drake May takes a big leap, most or if not all of their free agent acquisitions hit, most if not all of their rookie class hit, and everybody improves, the coaching does better, yada, yada, yada. If they double their win total, that's still only 8 games. So, this team was really, really bad last year. And if they double what they did, that's still, again, it's 8 games. And that's promising, and that's a really good jump. But I don't think you should necessarily expect this team to go from basement 4-12 and in year 1 completely just rip-roar things around, go to 10, 12 wins and make the playoffs. So I would lean under. I think 8's probably the right number, but it also wouldn't shock me if things go really well and they do kind of creep up towards the 9-win, maybe even 10-win range. But I think the safe play on that would be under 8.5.
I think the most positive thing for me this offseason has been Elliott Wolf admitting that they've supported him better with, Ryan Cowden and guys like that. Like him talking about that support and, was it his draft? It feels like a Vrabel draft, but I do think that Elliott Wolf at least has been surrounded better, and I think that's what they originally thought with Mayo and Wolf, right? But now I think they've surrounded Wolf pretty well.
I agree, and I think that there seems to be a legitimate cohesiveness, and I hate to use the word because it was so buzzy and frankly just wrong last year, was collaboration. But I think there's a genuine working relationship between the front office, the coaching staff, what Elliott Wolf brings as a scout and as a talent evaluator, because last year he was asked to do so much more than just evaluate talent, which is what he's actually good at, because of how much of a train wreck the coaching staff was and what Gerard Mayo could and couldn't do. And his arms were stretched, and he was asked to do a lot more than just evaluate talent. So now he's able to do that this year. I think there's been a genuine, working, hey, Elliott, what do you think? Mike, what do you think? Cowden stretch. I don't think this is just the Mike Felger theory of, hey, Elliott, go fix the jam in the fax machine. I think he's actually working with these guys, and maybe Mike Vrabel has final say, but I think they trust Elliott Wolf. I think everybody's working hard, working together, and he tells the tells the story about the Travian Henderson versus that guard that Miami ended up jumping ahead. And Elliot said it a couple times now. I watched an interview with him and Zoe on Patriots.com earlier where there was a healthy disagreement in the room as to who they should take, and it never ended up getting that far, but because Miami traded up. But it feels like there's some actual progress going on, and it's not just a mosh pit, if you will. In the personnel department, I feel like they're actually working together at a good speed, if you will. So I think Elliot Wolf has done enough to not just be, I guess, kicked out of the front office like everyone assumed. I think things are actually going in a positive direction, and that should be another thing that's promising for Patriots fans.
Any thoughts on the Belichick Jordan thing? We came up with some nicknames last night for the couple. Skaz came up with Belladon.
Okay.
I had Jordachick.
Okay.
I had Budson, Bordon, Pathetic Chick. Somebody called in. You got anything?
I was gonna say I'm just gonna go with weird. The whole thing's weird. It's fascinating to follow. Like I'm not one of these people who can't laugh and watch it and be completely invested tabloid style. So I think it's one of those. It's kind of like a bad car wreck when you don't want to look, but you also can't look away. Like I'm kind of on the edge of my seat waiting for the next TMZ, New York Post article to find out what she's up to next, because like it went from, okay, this is creepy, weird, but also kind of funny to like, oh wow, what is she doing? When that article came out yesterday with like the $8 million real estate portfolio, like that's got to just be his money that she's kind of funneling it out of. And I just think that's wild. And I wonder, like Charles Barkley said he was going to call Belichick and ask him if he's all right. Like, I wonder what I would love to get in the mind of Bill Belichick and find out what he thinks about and what's going on in this situation. So it is wild. It's strange. It's seemingly never ending. He did a really good job at keeping things under wraps and quiet from a media perspective when he was in New England. And, now with Jordan in the fold, it seems like everything's kind of leaking out and going haywire. So we'll see what happens. I don't think he's going to get, fired or part ways with UNC or anything like some people have speculated, but I do wonder how long it lasts now that there is this kind of, there's this crack in the foundation here.
All right, he's Mike Cadlick, everybody. He works for SI. A year ago, he got fired on draft day. And a year later, he's now working at Sports Illustrated, eating ice cream and getting dumped on 98.5.
Getting dumped. My fault. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Skaz. Thanks, Joe. Look forward to coming on again.
All right, man. Keep it clean, all right? Can you swear on CLNS?
Oh, yeah. We can do pretty much anything on CLNS.
Don't give me any ideas.
We got to get you on the show. You want to come on? Talk some Pat?
I work every night. You know how many people reach out? Mike, imagine this is like, again, poor me, I work nights. But you know how many people are like, hey, do you want to come to, McGolf and go to the driving range on Thursday night? And I'm like, dude.
Got to work.
I work every night till midnight.
Mm.
So, hey, do you want to come to the concert?
Tough life.
Wednesday? And I'm like, dude. And it annoys me now. I'm annoyed that people don't consider my schedule.
That's when you just fire back at them and text them on like a Tuesday at 10 a.m. and be like, hey, I'm going to the driving range right now. Do you want to come? And see what they have.
Oh, yeah. Like do it like early, like when they're at work.
Yeah, throw it back at them when it's obvious that they're at work. Like, just make them feel bad.
Like, hey, man,
make them get mad.
You want to meet me at Tutto Italiano? I'm about to get a braided chicken pie.
Right. Ooh, that sounds bomb right now, Joe.
Oh, what do you? So you're in Norwood, huh? What are the spots? I mean, I know you ever go to Lewis's before like 9 a.m.
No, I've never been to Lewis's before 9 a.m.
Yeah, dude, that bar's open at 6 a.m. Do you know that? They got nudies in there too.
The front bar, right?
Yeah, the front bar.
Yeah. So Conrad's is the place.
Yes.
Furlongs is the ice cream spot. That's where we just went.
Okay, what about Bubbling? You go to Bubbling Brook anymore?
Bubbling Brook is in the rotation as well.
Yeah.
No, I think Conrad's is definitely
what's
the
the
main
old
one.
Mad Maggie's now? What's over there?
I don't even know what that is.
Do you hit up Lambert's often?
Often is probably strong, but definitely have gone a few times since moving over here.
Who's got the best pizza out there?
Okay, so Conrad's is known for their steak tips, but their pizza is actually phenomenal as well.
Really?
Yes. They got some good pies. I also actually during Friday night of the draft, I got a pizza from Mustang Pizza.
I've heard. That's the name of the mascot, right? In Norwood.
Yes, it is Mustangs. So that was pretty good.
Is there stashes up there?
There is actually over across Route 1.
Yeah. You go to Venice?
Good spot. Norwood Center's the place to go. Do I go to where?
Venice.
Yeah, Venice is good. Venice has good live music actually.
Your Chateau, is that still going?
Chateau's still there. I haven't been there in a couple years actually, but I play golf over there. That's where Norwood Country Club is, behind the Chateau.
Former sponsor of mine as well, Patty Burger. Great people.
Okay. Hey, do you know the Chateau in Norwood? You know the Holiday Inn next door?
Yeah.
How there's now it's a McMorgan's in the restaurant there.
Yep.
It used to be, what was it called? I think it was called Joe and Maria's or Joey's or something.
Yeah, Joe and Maria. I know the owner. Yeah.
Okay, so they used to have these onion strings there when I was a kid.
Ooh.
And they were just, they're some of the best onion strings I've ever had. And I'm not a big onion guy, but when we would go there, me, my brother, and my parents would take us there when we didn't feel like going elsewhere. And that was a good spot. They had the best onion strings in the world. I wish that place would come back.
I knew that guy that owned that.
Yeah? Huh.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I haven't been over there in a while, but whenever I do, it's Lambert's or nothing.
Lambert's is the best. They have good cold cut sandwiches. They also have a bomb steak and cheese, actually, Lambert's does.
What do you get on your steak and cheese?
You don't want to know what I get on my steak and cheese.
Yeah, why do you like lettuce?
No, not lettuce, but pickles.
Pickles? Okay.
I do pickles on the steak and cheese.
Pickles is okay.
Yeah, I don't do lettuce. I figured you would be upset about the pickles, but no, I mean, I would do lettuce on it. I'll do a lettuce on a pizza, but no, steak, cheese, no peppers and onions, but pickles.
All right. Well, I'm hungry now. All right.
What time do you eat when you work the night shift?
Well, it depends. Sometimes I decide to get something on the way in. So it could be at 6:30 in my car alone.
Okay.
Skaz sees me sleeping all the time in the car alone.
What time do you get there?
Well, it depends. I leave from Peabody because I live on the North Shore now. So sometimes it takes 90 minutes. Sometimes it takes 30. So
tough life we have in this sports business, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, and I try not to listen to anything on the way in because I want my own thoughts.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I try. You were like, hey, and Charles Barkley said this, and then said this, and I go, wow, they did.
Yeah. Yeah, Barkley went on Dan Patrick and was like, hey, I don't want to talk about people's relationships, but I think I'm going to call Bill and find out if everything's okay.
I don't want to talk about people's relationships, but let me talk about people's relationships.
Exactly. Yeah, it was quite the segue from Chuck.
All right, dude. Well, I got to meet up with your family soon, so you might.
Yeah, let's get it done.
All right,
yeah, buddy. We'll make it work. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you. See you guys.
That's Mike Cadlick, everybody. He's got a potty mouth, and he's eating ice cream, and I want some. Oh, Pizzy Farms is probably closed, huh? Rick's a listener, though. If he just came by here with a nice little 3 things of ice cream, maybe some what do you like on your ice cream, Skaz? You like gummy bears or?
Pretty plain, Joe.
You're just a plain Jane?
Yeah, I'm more of a milkshake guy than an ice cream guy, but...
Oh, vanilla milkshakes would help my throat so well.
A little chocolate milkshake, yeah.
Oh, you're a chocolate... I like
Big time.
I like a coffee every once in a while.
Not a vanilla guy.
Not a vanilla guy, huh?
No.
You could really use one. You know what? Know what's a sleeper? Raspberry lime Ricky.
You were talking about watermelon sherbet earlier?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's because of the weather, right? It's getting better. This is what I want to do. It's like how I enjoy myself.
What about like a pistachio ice cream? You do that?
You I like a pistachio every once in a while, though.
Yeah, mix it in.
Because, there's go-tos. Chocolate's
the go-to. Mint chocolate chip, maybe?
I'm a chocolate chip cookie dough sometimes if I just want to go plain. Anyways, we're really late. but we like ice cream. And let's get to the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Red Sox lead 2-1 right now in the bottom of the seventh inning. Tanner Houck, 6 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned. He's given up a dong. I'd look to get him out of the game, but I'm not the manager. What do I know? NBA scoreboard right now. It's halftime. I'm Joe Murray. Ben is in Nashua. What up, Ben?
What's going on, Joe? How you doing?
How's Nashua doing these days?
It's there.
How's the Nash? You been up there?
Not yet. Been to Lucky Moose and the old billiards, Gate City now.
I love that place.
Hey, question. Have you played the TNA board game yet?
You're that guy.
Yep.
Okay, Skaz. I went to the Wilbur Theater one day, and a man, this man here, gave me a T-shirt and a TNA board game. And when I left, my mom actually came with me. Shout out, Mom. And she goes, "Why do you have that?" And I said, well, I go, the things that were given me tonight were joints, which I did not smoke, and a TNA board game and a T-shirt. Do you know that I have a wrestling collection? Did I play that game? Is there a reason why you ask?
No, I was curious.
Is that how you identify yourself now, is you're the guy that gave me the board game?
Well, that's how you remember me by.
Well, now I know Ben Nashua.
Yep.
Board game.
Board game, loves beef.
Lucky Moose. Oh, you're a beef guy?
Yeah.
So you know that I really don't eat beefs often, right? I just moved to the North Shore. One day I talked about it on the radio, and now everybody... And I was blindfolded once and identified beefs.
So what's your go-to?
I mean, I haven't had a beef, dude, in like... I maybe have had one in 2025.
Yeah.
And I got 2 juniors from Arthur's.
You know what's underrated?
What's that?
A good meatball sub.
Yeah, it just depends on where you get. Like, it's like for me, it's not about the meatballs; it's about the bread.
Yeah.
You know, like what's good out your way?
It's got to be like, the meatball can't be like meaty. It's got to have like flavor to it, like Italian, like but a nice crusted sub roll with some cheese on it.
So you're a sub roll guy.
Yeah.
See, I like TJ's Deli out there. I've been there a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right down the road from me.
Yeah, it's near the casino.
Yep.
I've got that.
And I think you've been to Christopher's too, right?
Yeah, I've been to Christopher's. Yep. Yeah.
Frozen meatballs. So
that's what I want. I want a handmade meatball. I want it handmade, like put into big circles, maybe put in a little bit of breadcrumb in there. You know what I mean? And then, and here's the other thing. I want my meatballs baked first and then sauce on top of them, not thrown into sauce.
Yeah. It's very important, but, there's a place called Giannis in Nashua that was ranked number 1. I don't know if you've ever been there.
There's rankings?
A little further up in Nashua.
Who ranks them?
I guess people around town. It used to be by Homan Stadium. The Nashua Pride.
Ah, the Pride. I remember them. When I worked at 1510, we used to play those games.
Nice. There's actually a Butch Hobson night in June they're doing.
Whoa.
And they're going to be wearing the Pride jerseys.
That's cool, man. What are you eating back there, Josh? What is that? Was that a meatball sub? Sorry, Ben. Turn him on. Why not? It's his last night.
Some leftover Chili's, Joe.
Chili's? Like, I want my baby back, Chili's, baby back ribs, barbecue sauce. What could you have possibly ate there?
So we got some of the, the bacon chicken ranch quesadillas. Those are pretty good.
So it's a
Those are for
quesadilla
my mom.
with...
She didn't finish them, so she gave them to
So
me.
it's a quesadilla
and then,
with
I
chicken,
got
bacon,
the
ranch.
burger. I just got a burger and some fries.
Burger at Chili's? What the hell are we doing? If I'm going to Chili's, they have that 3 for $10 meal, by the way. You can get salsa and chips, the chicken crispers, and it comes with corn on the cob and french fries. And then you get a drink, all for $10. Do you know that? He doesn't have a headset on. Can you hear me? When's the last time you had Chili's? Yes.
Oh, it's been a while.
A
couple years,
it might not be for you anymore.
Yeah.
They got good ribs too, though. Back in the day, that was when we grew up in the area. We had a Chili's and we had a Fridays, and it was like where we going tonight? Chili's actually has a pretty decent queso as well. Chili's or Fridays is gone, right? Or is it still going?
I haven't seen one in a long time.
Well, in on Chili's, and we have in or out next. Oh, the fajitas. How did I forget the fajitas? Got to go to break. I'm Joe Murray.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
in action looking to close out their series tonight with the Clippers. How about the Red Sox? They have whoa. What happened here? What happened here? A man named Vlad. Let me tell you about a man named Vlad. He went deep, and then the Red Sox had a lead that is now a deficit, and they can't score after the sixth. Anyways, headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Score to the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Are you in or out? Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is...
Murray, are you in or out on a New York City Rats horror movie?
Well, there was one. We got to talk to Kyle, right? All right. I'm out. Anything else?
That is going to wrap up a Thursday night edition of In or Out.
People think we have Kyrie Irving coming on the show.
A common misconception.
It's Kyle.
Kyle Irving.
And he's from Underdog, and we'll talk to him next on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. You know, Skaz always tells me that his friends are Kendrick Drake guys. Is that it?
Kyle is a big Drake guy, not Kendrick.
Kyle Irving of Underdog joining us here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Is that true, Kyle?
That is true. Skaz always gets me right with the intro music here, too.
Oh, you must have not liked the halftime show of the NFL this year, huh? Super Bowl?
I stepped outside and took a couple deep breaths of air instead.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. NBA playoffs have been pretty good, man, huh? You enjoying it?
I have been. I mean, physicality. We had some rivalries. It feels like it's getting back to an old school style of basketball. I'm sitting here watching Knicks Pistons right now, seeing who the Celtics got next.
How about Mikal Bridges actually earning some keep tonight? Playing well. I know Brunson's got 28, but I've been impressed with Mikal Bridges so far.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges is great defensively. It's just offensively in the role the Knicks have him in, it's so inconsistent because they need him to be a more consistent scorer, where really he's probably better suited for like the role that he had in Phoenix when they went to the finals. And when you get traded for like 5 first-round picks, you're obviously going to have extra pressure on you. So the nights that he can't hit the side of the back, he's hitting the side of the backboard on threes and stuff, he gets a lot of crap for it, but, there are nights where he still has it going. He can knock down that mid-range shot, knock down the three, and be that third scoring option they need.
Yeah, so the Celtics await the winner of this series, as Cade Cunningham slowly is going to start to try to take over this game here. If it's New York, I favor the Celtics better than the Pistons. I know the Pistons are young, but I think they're a little bit more physical of a team, more deep of a team. We'll see how this thing plays out, but what did you think about the Celtics, changing their game, not being three-point reliant, playing a little bit more ISO ball, and with a gentleman sweep over the Magic?
Yeah, I thought it was impressive. Like, that to me is a playoff series where past versions of this Celtics team would have really struggled with the physicality. Maybe it would have gone 6 games, 7 games, just because, that's how teams threw them off. That's how the Warriors threw them off in the 22 finals. But they were able to, still play basically the Magic's version of basketball, like you said. They attempted, I think it was like 17 fewer threes per game. Their assists were down like 5 or 6 per game compared to their regular season average. More iso ball, like you said. It was really a big series for the Jays, and they dealt with that physicality well. JT obviously had a monster series, 3 straight 35-point games to close it out. And there really hasn't been a lot of talk about the Celtics defense either. Like, I feel the Magic didn't score over 100 points. And part of that is just offensive incompetence outside of Paulo and Franz. But I think the Celtics defense also just deserves some sort of credit for the level of physicality that they brought to match Orlando's physicality. So, to me, it's just impressive yes, they're a 7 seed, but they were one of the best defenses in the league all year long. They matched their physicality. Like you said, they kind of changed their style of play, found a gritty way to win. And now, they get a couple extra days off as they watch these two teams beat each other up like we are right now.
Yeah, Kyle, it feels like Celtics fans have already moved past the next round and they're on to the Eastern Conference Finals. No real fear of the Pistons or the Knicks, around Boston right now. Do you think there's any reason for Celtics fans to be wary of the Knicks or the Pistons if they do advance?
I kind of like Joe was just saying, like the Pistons would be a similar version of a series like we just saw against Orlando, just against a team that has more offensive talent. Like, Cade's averaging 25, 8, and 8 right now in the playoffs. He's really solidifying himself, as a future superstar in this league. And they have a bunch of guys who can knock down threes. Jalen Duren's super physical, but at the end of the day, their inexperience is the reason they're down 3-2 in this series in the first place. And, a team like Boston has the experience. They have, 100-plus playoff games under their belt with this core, and I really feel like, they would it would probably be a 5-game series if it's Detroit. And then with New York, that team is just, we saw their struggles in the regular season. They couldn't beat any good teams all year long, it really felt like. And that's because they're so reliant on Jalen Brunson to do everything offensively. Towns had a monster regular season. He's been pretty up and down in the postseason so far. And it's just not a very deep team. Like, they're one ankle turn away from Campaign and Deuce McBride, averaging 25, 30 minutes a game, in their regular rotation. So I don't really think the Celtics have any reason to be super concerned with either of these teams. I genuinely think they would beat either of them in 5. The Pistons series would be a little bit more physical, kind of like the Magic series, where the Knicks are a little more fake tough. They put, kind of fake physicality. They're physical with you every now and then, but they don't really match up very well, even though they basically formed this roster around trying to stop Jalen and Jason.
Why do you think it's been so physical in the playoffs? Like, I know there's been a couple of rounds, right? Cavs, Miami tapped out OKC, actually had a big comeback and kind of closed things. But is it just, did the team start to turn it on? Is there more parity in the league? Is it the apron tax? I mean, today Shams wants to say it's a report, but we've known all along that the Celtics have issues when it comes to the tax. It's not the bill, it's the CBA implications. It's just things have been very competitive, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on why it's so competitive right now.
Yeah, I think the parity is probably where I would point to first. Yes, teams always, the game slows down a little bit more. It's not as much run and gun. Like, teams play in the half court more. Their defense tightens up. Like, that's stuff that happens in every postseason, but I do think that this year in particular, it's more the parity of the league. I mean, it took us all the way until the final week of the regular season for, people to figure out who's going to play who in the Western Conference playoffs. There was like 4 games separating 3rd place and 10th place in the West. And, I think that's why you're seeing some really physical series over there. That's why you're seeing teams like Minnesota upset the Lakers. That's why you're seeing, teams like Golden State upset, that they are trending towards an upset against the Houston Rockets. And then, even in the East, it was really Boston and Cleveland and, to an extent, Indiana all year. But then after that, it was really kind of anyone can beat anybody. So, I do think that the CBA, even though it really hasn't fully hit rosters yet, I think, kind of like the report today, and like you said, it's not new news, but it's going to start to affect teams. So I don't necessarily think it's that just yet. I think eventually it will be that. But I do think that, the top teams, the teams that made the playoffs in each league or in each conference, they have a ton of talent, and there's just more talent in the league in general. So now you have all these teams that are a little bit more evenly matched up. Teams like, Milwaukee and Indiana that have played each other 20 times in the last 3 years. Teams like Golden State and Houston that really don't like each other. There's a little bit of history in each series too. So it kind of feels like that's brought out a little bit more intensity out of everybody.
Yeah, Kyle. And one of the series that wrapped up last night, the Timberwolves take down the Lakers. I know you're out in LA. We could do 4 hours on everything going on with the Lakers right now, from Luka, LeBron's post game comments on Anthony Davis, JJ Redick fighting with the media. What is the vibe around the Lakers now that the season's over? They got to see Luka's defense in the playoffs. What's the vibe around that Lakers team right now?
Yeah, I think, Rob Pelinka had a great quote during their exit interviews today where he said after the Luka trade, it felt like they were trying to build a plane while they were already in the air. And, I was on here after the trade deadline, and that was before we found out that the Mark Williams trade was rescinded. And we were talking about how much their lack of front court presence is really going to kill them in the playoffs. And, in return, we see the Rudy Gobert game, which I don't know if anybody would have ever, been able to predict that. You had Shaq laughing at halftime at how much Rudy Gobert was dominating the game. Skaz even wanted me to talk about how Anthony Edwards is getting face of the league conversations after going 0 for 11 from 3 and getting carried by Rudy Gobert in that game last night. But, I think with the Lakers, you have to have a very specific type of team built around Luka Doncic. You can't just roll him out on any – he's an incredible offensive talent, but he's such a liability on the defensive end that you can't just roll him out on any roster and find success. You have to have long athletic wings. You have to have guys that are willing to stand in a corner, kind of wait their turn and catch and shoot. And then you have to have a lob catching, rim protecting, strong athletic big in the back line. And, that's how they got to the NBA Finals in Dallas last year. And then you look at this year's Lakers roster and you have Dorian Finney-Smith and Jared Vanderbilt playing the 5. That's just not going to get it done in the playoffs. You have JJ Redick playing the same lineup for an entire half in a playoff game. Again, that's just not going to get it done. So, I think that they are really going to have to look in the mirror, and they're going to have to be very aggressive in the trade market this offseason if they're going to want to maximize this window that they have around Luka and LeBron, because right now it's just not a very clean fit. You're building around Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Luka Doncic, 3 players who are all better with the ball in their hands. And you're asking some of those guys to, take less shots, have the ball in their hands a little bit less. And they're not playing through LeBron as much. They're not playing through AR as much. They're really going to have to find the right pieces at an affordable price that can come in and do things that Luka-type teammates, have historically had success doing.
Talking to Kyle Irving from Underdog Sports. Kyle, what's going to happen with the Miami Heat? And, I'm not saying I talk to people, but I got a funny feeling Pat Riley's moving on, and I think he's going to end up with the Lakers. Do you think he'd be the right fit there? How do the Heat fix things? And I don't know, Pat Riley to the Lakers, I feel like could really smooth things out, and also probably could help Jokic eventually, potentially going to the Lakers in the future.
That would certainly shake things up.
You heard it here first, buddy. You heard it here first.
Yeah, if it happens, I know where to give the credit to. But it is a weird time for the Miami Heat, where they were a destination, they were a scrappy team, they made some deep playoff runs, they made it to the NBA Finals, they couldn't get over the hump. They really haven't had that much of a letdown since LeBron left, which is not the case usually when LeBron leaves teams. Like, they had one down year and then they were right back to it as a competitive team. And, now they're kind of back staring themselves in the face of okay, can we really build around Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro? And you have names like Kevin Durant popping up. You have names like Giannis Antetokounmpo popping up. I'm sure they're going to be first in line calling to see if they can acquire these types of players. But they also aren't exactly loaded with, assets around guys like Herro and Bam Adebayo that other teams would want. So they are kind of stuck where they are right now. If Pat Riley decides, hey, I've had enough of, the toughest, hardest, whatever, the Heat culture, whatever they had written in their paint that year, then, they're going to have to start really from scratch and look themselves in the face and say, do we want to rebuild this whole thing? But I do think that with Bam and Herro right now, I would expect Pat Riley to stay pat and try and bring in one of those major superstars, do everything he can to do that before, he were to leave or they were to hit the reset button completely.
Yeah, how about Giannis? Where does he end up?
That's such a tough one because, I know Brooklyn is the betting favorite in some of the offshore markets and stuff like that. And I feel like Giannis has never been somebody that was I'm going to play my whole career in Milwaukee. I remember he had a trip in Chicago where he was I could see myself playing. He's never been somebody that's I'm going to be a Milwaukee Buck for my entire career. So, at some point, it does feel like he will move on. And when you want to talk about a team that has no future assets, no young players that other teams want, Milwaukee is as handcuffed as handcuff gets in the NBA. And they could get a boatload in return for Giannis, but it's also the reaction that we just saw from Dallas after trading Luka. How are you going to sell the fan base on trading a top 5 player in the league and kind of convincing the fans hey, it's going to get better from here? So I actually would expect him to, maybe this is a hot take, I would expect him to remain in Milwaukee next year. But, I also do think that it's possible that some team that is desperate, that gets knocked out of the playoffs, that feels like they're one player away, it would be willing to really just mortgage their entire future and go after Giannis. And maybe the Bucks get an offer across their desk that they're oh, you give us all of that for him? All right, fine, we'll do the deal.
How about Doc Rivers? What's his future?
Oof, Doc Rivers. I mean, they didn't have a very talented roster, so you can't necessarily place all the blame.
Is he a good coach?
Is he a good?
What does he do? Give me something he does well. Nick Nurse is a good defensive-minded coach, right? What does Doc Rivers do?
At one point, I would have said manage personalities, but I guess that's more going back to the Celtics days because that has obviously not been the case in years. He's not exactly someone that you're oh, watch out for Doc Rivers. He's going to make all these in-game adjustments or all these, in-series adjustments to benefit the team. I thought actually he deserved a tiny bit of credit in the Pacers-Bucks series when he moved Gary Trent Jr. into the starting lineup and he was shooting the ball like crazy. And in the lineup that they had started all season long wasn't working. He was willing to make that change. That was a moment where I was oh, okay, I see you, Doc. That was a pretty smart move. Gary Trent Jr. kept them in that series for a little bit, but all in all, it's been a couple of years since Doc Rivers has been a coach where you could really look at him and be he can make adjustments and win a team a series, or he's someone that really maximizes the talent that's on his roster. So to give you a straightforward answer, I think the answer is no. I think especially at this day and age, he'd probably be better off staying on TV or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's going to get another chance in Milwaukee if they trade Giannis and they really decide to blow this thing up. I could see them going in a completely different direction. But if they do keep Giannis around, I do think Doc might survive just because there wasn't that much talent on the roster to begin with.
Anything else, guys?
Yeah, I got a Celtics question for you. I think we saw just the talent of the Celtics. Tatum missed a game. Holiday missed a couple games. That didn't really matter in this series against the Magic. Mazzulla did say earlier this week that he thinks Holiday will be ready for game one. Do you think, I don't think next round, but against the Cavs or, especially in the finals, if it is a team like OKC, the Celtics injuries, when do you think that could impact them in the playoffs?
Yeah, I do think that would start as soon as the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think that next series either team is deep enough or poses enough of a threat that, they couldn't afford to give Drew another night off if he really needed it. It doesn't get until they play Cleveland or Indiana. And I do think Indiana actually has a fair shot at beating Cleveland in the Eastern Conference semifinals. I think Indiana is a lot better than people even realize. Actually, the only teams that won more games than the Pacers in 2025 were the Celtics, the Thunder, and the Cavs. So they've been one of the best teams in the league for, half the season now. But it is in series like that. I mean, how many games did Drew win the Celtics in the conference finals last year? He had that massive steal. He was the one that's playing the physical defense and making Tyrese Halliburton uncomfortable when he was on the court. He plays such a massive role in guarding Donovan Mitchell and guarding Darius Garland, being able to put him on bigs like Evan Mobley or Jared Allen and letting KP roam freely. He plays such a big role in what the Celtics do defensively that they need him against a team that is good enough to beat them. But I don't think Detroit or New York are those teams. So that I really think that until the Eastern Conference Finals or NBA Finals, giving Drew Holiday as much rest as possible is probably the best, course of action for Boston.
All right, Kyle. I know you're living on the West Coast now. What's something on the West Coast that's better than something on the East Coast?
Ooh, something that's better on the West Coast than something on the East. Well, I mean, other than the weather, I guess the Mexican food. I feel like I gave you this answer once before, but street tacos were something that I had never had before until I moved out here. And now you get these Al Pastor tacos. It's the seasoned, I think it's pork that's on the stick, and then they got the pineapple going and everything too. That has turned into one of my favorite foods, and I had never really even had street food until I moved out here.
I just went to Vegas, right? And the first thing I did when I got off the plane was go to In-N-Out Burger. And I'm going to tell you, it's no Five Guys.
No Five Guys. What's funny? I'm not an In-N-Out guy. I've had a couple bad experiences there, so I'm not someone that's going to be oh, you got when you go to LA, you got to try In-N-Out. It's completely fine. It's fine. There's nothing. Fine. Yeah, I would prefer Shake Shack. Okay. I'm more Shake Shack than Five Guys. I'd take Shake Shack over In-N-Out. In-N-Out's it's another fast food burger, All
right, so we just had this question. Where was this hot dog, Scaz, we were just talking about?
I was at a Phillies game.
All right. So, are you in or out on chocolate syrup on a hot dog?
Oh, man. Scaz, you're going to have to give Joe a full rundown on my eating habits in general, but I don't do hot dogs. But I'm laughing because one of my friends coming in last place in fantasy has to try the 999 challenge, which is 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, and 9 innings of baseball. And that's the only thing I can think of right now when I hear hot dogs.
9. Oh, dude, I don't even know if. Listen, Kyle, I'm 6'3", 385 pounds, and I used to be able to drink 30 beers in a night. No, I'm not lying. Well, in my 20s, okay. I don't think I could do 9 beers right now. Could I? I could do 9 hot dogs easily. Done. 9 beers though, as well.
In 9 innings of baseball, and we found a game on YouTube. It's an old Red Sox Yankees game that's 3 hours long. So he basically has a 3-hour clock. We're not doing the new pitch clock where games are 2.5 hours. He's got 3 hours of an old school baseball game to put down 9 beers and 9 hot dogs.
Dude, that's 9 beers in 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I can't do it.
I would have no shot. I would have absolutely no shot. The kid who's doing it, I think he has a shot.
Oh,
I think he has a chance.
Should we put odds on this?
We might have to.
Can we get can you live stream or go live on Instagram or something or Twitter and we'll just watch?
He would be an absolute shambles because I have a feeling that, it's probably not going to go down too easy, but I'm going to be entertained watching him try.
So how are you out on hot dogs?
Man, I'm a very picky eater in general, and hot dogs just don't do it for me. I don't like the pop. I don't like the texture. I don't like I don't know. It's just when it just feels weird in your mouth when you're chewing it. Like, my whole pickiness is all based on texture. So I don't do hot dogs.
But just real quick, though, do you like bologna?
No, not really. Not really.
Okay, so you don't like bologna.
But I guess the contradictory part would be I like chicken sausage, which is like kind of the same texture. So it's like, or regular sausage. Yeah, I don't know.
So you like sausage, street meat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just not hot dogs, which I guess is pretty contradicting.
Is the street meat different out there? Because when I went to WrestleMania a couple weeks ago, and I smelled the street meat when I was out there, and I was like, I wonder if I should get some Vegas street meat. Is it like Boston street meat, you know?
Boston street meat's definitely better in my opinion. But again, I usually do like the steak tip subs or like the sausage, pepper, and onion, something like that, where like out here they're very big on like, it's like hot dog wrapped in bacon with like peppers and onions also on the grill. Like that's like the more common thing when you're walking out of a ball game or something like that out here.
Would you put chocolate sauce on a sausage?
I would not put chocolate sauce on a sausage. No, I would have to draw the line somewhere, and it would definitely be there.
What's your favorite topping of pizza?
I like pepperoni, but I also like buffalo chicken, which I feel like buffalo chicken doesn't really count as like a traditional pizza topping, though.
You know what I don't like is some people get barbecue pizza. Well, instead of regular marinara, they give you barbecue sauce. I don't want that. I want my chicken to have the barbecue sauce, and I want regular.
Right,
pizza.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, it almost doesn't count as a pizza topping. Like I would just say like just standard pepperoni.
And are you from like the Bridgewater, Raynham area?
I'm from Bridgewater.
Were you like a Stephen Barry's guy growing up and all that too?
I remember Stephen Barry's, yeah, but it was Flying J's was the spot.
Oh yeah, that's we know a couple of guys here. I know Flying J's.
Oh yeah, Flying J's is incredible. That's like one of the first places I stop every time I go home.
Wow. Well, when are you back home?
I'll be back home in July.
Hey, when you come, you should come in studio when you come back.
I would love to. I would love to. That'd be incredible.
We can reunite you and Skaz.
I would love that. That would be great.
We're in Waltham. You ever been to Waltham, Mass?
I have been to Waltham, Mass, yeah.
Yeah, you got. It's not Route 24, man, or 44.
I'd probably have to use a road map to get there, but yeah, I got you. I could come through. That'd be great.
Who the hell uses a road map anymore?
All right, I'll pull up Google Maps online.
I was going to say, I still use Waze. I'm old. Sometimes Waze gets me wrong, though. You know that?
It'll drive you through like somebody's driveway, through their backyard, through the woods to get to where you go, but you get there fast.
Yeah, it's kind of like The Office. You know, they tell them to go over through the river, and then they do. And all right, man. Well, I'm trying to watch the New York Knicks maybe blow this. Our intern, it's Josh. It's his last night. He's a big Knicks fan, and I'm trying to get him all riled up here. But all right, man. Well, maybe we'll catch up in the next round and see what happens.
Awesome. That'd be great. Sounds good, Joe. Appreciate you having me, Skaz. Thank you, man.
All right. He's Kyle Irving, everybody. Underdog. He doesn't like hot dogs, but he is underdog.
Yeah, I'm cracking up back here because if you knew the extent of Kyle's eating habits, maybe we get him in studio in July. We can dive deeper into this. But in high school, I don't think Kyle tried a burger until he was maybe out of high school or senior in high school or something like that. So yeah,
like a hamburger.
Like a hamburger. Yeah, when you say you're a picky eater, Joe, Kyle is the definition of a picky eater. We've expanded his horizon some.
I just don't eat lettuce.
Yes, yeah,
or salad. Like, everything else is pretty much game, I don't do hummus either.
Not a hummus guy.
You know what it is? I eat it, but it smells.
You ever seen the Frank the Tank hummus video?
No.
That's an all-time
Frank
classic.
The Tank. Oh, yeah, from the Barstool guy.
Not a fan of hummus.
He hates a lot of things, that guy.
Not a big Frank the Tank guy, but yeah, not a fan of hummus.
He flips out all the time. Is he a Dolphins fan?
I believe so,
Yeah,
yes.
I always see him flip out about that. All right, we're running late again. This chocolate hot dog. I feel like I would have text Street Team Joe.
Get an expert's opinion.
You know what? This guy Nick's been on hold for like forever. Let's get him on the other side. We'll take a quick break. I'm Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, next up. Whoa, 103.96 is getting closer. We're going to give something away here, so get ready, Josh. This is your last work we're going to ask you to do as an intern. And then once you're not an intern anymore, you're a real human being. Which is you are anyways, but you know what I mean. Caller number 10 right now to the contest line at 617-931-0985. You'll score a pair of tickets to see Tom Segura on his Home Together tour, May 22nd at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Mass. Few tickets still available for the show. Get yours now at massmutualcenter.com. The Red Sox lost. We'll get into that. But Nick has been holding on in Taunton for a long time. Nick, how you doing?
Joe, Scaz, what's going on, brothers?
Yo.
How you guys doing?
Hey, just waiting to see what the outcome of this game will be.
So you guys were talking about meatball subs earlier. I have an underrated meatball sub.
Mm-hmm.
Subway.
Yeah, I liked it.
It's soggy, it's wet, but it's delicious.
Yeah, I like Subways, but it's just that, I prefer someone who made it with love.
Subway makes it with love.
They don't love me.
They don't love me either. They charge you $8 for a $5 foot long.
We've talked. Have you heard us talk about this before?
I don't know.
Well, just say yes because I have. I've talked about this before. One time they charged me extra for bacon.
They always do that.
No,
worst.
I will pay more for bacon. It's just why does it go from $6 to $11?
$11, $5 more for a piece of bacon.
And I'm not a cheap guy.
I'm not either.
But
I also have to say too, the chocolate sauce on the wieners, no go.
No go, huh? What else? What else goes on a wiener besides a condiment?
I realistically, honestly, just mustard and some relish.
Okay, but besides a condiment.
Oh, then just plain.
Yeah, like a naked dog.
A naked dog, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, would you ever, you know how you can get really crazy at making ice cream? Like an ice cream sandwich? Or an ice cream sundae? Would you ever put
an ice cream sundae, you crunch up some Oreos, you're throwing on it, like vanilla ice cream, clean up.
Would you ever do anything like that? Like maybe gummy bears?
Ice cream on a hot dog? Absolutely not.
Okay. What about beans on a hot dog?
What kind of beans? Kidney? Red beans?
Baked beans.
I could do that, yeah.
What about guacamole?
No, absolutely not, Joe.
Kimchi.
What the hell is kimchi?
For real?
I don't know what kimchi is. I've never had it.
It's a Korean cabbage. How about caramelized onions?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Caramelized onions are the best.
What about a salsa or sriracha?
Oh, yeah. Could do that.
How about mac on a dog?
Mac and cheese on a dog, too?
Yeah, mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's cut up back in the day when you were a kid. You cut up some wieners and you just have some mac and cheese.
How do you like your wieners? Do you like them boiled, microwaved, grilled?
Oh, no, on the grill, always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to put them in the microwave and explode them.
Joe, but no, chocolate sauce on the wieners, no go.
Thanks, buddy.
It's wet, but it's delicious.
I'm going to be honest with these guys. I've always liked the Subway meatball. I always also like a Subway tuna. No celery, though. Do we give away the tickets? Thank you. All right, we're going to do the musings. And then we're going to bring Josh in. This is last night. We might get live Josh reaction to the game. We'll do that next here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on
Strikeouts. They pull him for Justin Slayton. Gives up a 3-run homer to Vladimir Guerrero. Bang, bop, bing, bang, bing, bang, boom. Toronto Blue Jays send him home. NBA right now, fourth quarter, 5 minutes to go. Tie game between the Pistons and New York Knicks. Winner of the series will take on Boston on Monday. Later on tonight, Denver and the Clippers. NHL scoreboard. Maple Leafs moving on to the next round. They defeated the Senators tonight 4-2. Golden Knights, they have a 3-1 lead on the Wild. It's the Avalanche 1, Stars nothing. And later on tonight, Oilers and Kings in the nightcap. The headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray.
Here we go.
Boom.
I win.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hit somebody.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Your rides here every day. They all right?
I mean, my ride here is fine. Recently, though, road work has been happening on my ride home, and it's been adding about 30 minutes onto my drive, so it goes from 40 to about an hour and 10.
Where is the road work?
It's about a mile away from here, and that exit...
Near the Pike?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So you go the Pike back home?
Back to...
Why don't you just go 95?
That's what I take, 95.
But why is there traffic?
Because the exit's blocked off to take the exit now because of construction.
So where does it take you?
It takes me like an extra. It takes me. I don't even know. I'm not from Massachusetts. I don't really know. I'm just driving. I'm just following the GPS.
What do you use for GPS?
Google Maps. Big Google Maps guy.
I still use Waze.
Waze. I know a lot of people that use Waze. I've heard Waze is the way to go, but
I have navigation in my car. Do you know that?
Oh, I have it too. Yeah.
I don't use it. I just use Waze still. Plug my phone in. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, I have it. I have it as well, and I just like Google Maps. I don't know.
Okay.
So.
All right, Google Maps it is.
I'm a Google
Use
Maps
guys.
guy.
What do you use?
Just whatever's on the Apple Maps or whatever's on the iPhone. Yeah.
Not bad either.
I'm not the. I don't really put the GPS on to get here and to go home. I will do it on the way home occasionally because 24, where I live, you can either go 495 or 24, and there's a minute difference maybe. So I've unfortunately run into where 24 is closed. I got to go down to 28 and go back up and around. So that's when I use the GPS. But most of the time, I'm just coming to work and going home. Not too frequent.
I use the be a man approach. Don't ask for directions.
Get lost.
Just get lost and figure it out.
What's the most lost you've ever been, Joe?
I'm Joey GPS, man. I'll figure it out.
I was going to say, that was one of the first nicknames. I remember Jeopardy Joe.
Yeah.
And then GPS Joe was...
I could legitimately... I think I can get anywhere in the state. I really... Now, Winchendon and towns like that are like... far.
Like you get dropped off in Uxbridge, you're fine.
I could figure it out. Because I know that there's roads, Route 9 to the 95 to 495 to the Pike to 290 to I-84. Is that how you go to Connecticut, I-84, or do you go 95? Which way do you go?
I go 84.
You go I-84. Okay,
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I can get you anywhere. I'm very good with direction. I remember, dude. I can't remember what I was told the other day. But I can remember roads.
I'd say I'm directionally challenged. Not like right and left, but like remembering, certain roads.
Do you know what else is when somebody asks me, like I've been at the gas station before, and hey Joe, how do I get to Watertown Square? And I'm like, keep going straight, bang a left, you'll be right on Route 20. Follow that for about 5 miles, you'll see the Watertown Mall on your right. That's where the square is, right there. And they look at me like, what did you just say?
Now I know how to go. So there you go.
Yeah, it's Route 20. Just bing, the whole way. Freaking out, dude?
A little bit. Just a little bit. I mean...
Can you tell people the score?
All right, so currently, the Knicks are currently down by 5. It's 110-105. Pistons are leading, not the Pacers. That was last year. It's just not a good look. It's just not a good look at all.
Let's wait it out. I want your reaction live.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday to Tim McGraw. He's 58. Wes Anderson's 56. Julie Benz is 53. Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton, 26 years old. Tiffy. She's 26, so.
Her entrance at WrestleMania, I like.
She did the Bobby.
It was pretty cool. Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool.
Why does I've been dropping the Boston accent all day today?
Yeah, I've been
What's up
noticing
with
it.
It's because I'm sick?
It might be.
How
I'm
about
not sick. I have allergies.
How about Curtis Martin and Wes Welker's birthday today? Who's a better Patriot? It's Wes Welker. Come on.
Yeah. Yet one's a Hall of Famer and one isn't, huh?
Also, David Backus' birthday today, a former Boston athlete.
Got to get rid of a first-round pick. It's James Murray of that show there, the comedian guy there.
Yeah, I think they might be. That show might be getting.
Oh, is he the
canceled.
one that got into the?
I think a couple of them have gotten into some trouble. So
God,
yeah, not
geez.
great there for
when
True
you go to
TV's.
rehab for something, man. Listen, we all go to rehab. I mean, whatever. Him though, something happened there. I believe in Joe Hendry. He's 37 years old. How come we don't use that as a theme here?
He's 37, huh? Yeah. I thought he was a younger guy.
How come we haven't made that I believe in Joe Murray?
Yeah, we need to do that. I was unfamiliar with who Joe Hendry was a few months ago, but I kind of like him, Joe. I don't know exactly what his gimmick is, but makes me laugh.
His gimmick is he just turns and smiles at the camera, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
he just turns.
So at WrestleMania, he did that, and then Randy Orton gave him an RKO. It was great.
Oh,
and
I
then
was
Randy
watching,
Orton
don't
held
worry.
him up and put his hand up in the air after. That's how you're over, right? That's you get RKO'd but still get your hand raised.
Great moment.
That actually was a very good
You
moment.
see what Triple H said after, too? He was talking about, like, Joe Hendry knows that, like, just to take this in. I told him, take this one in because you're going to be at more. And I think he'll be great.
He's one of Kowloon's finest. Met him at Kowloon. Chet Holmgren, 23.
It is also Ethan Albright's birthday today. You may be unfamiliar with Ethan Albright, but he was I believe, an offensive lineman for the Washington Commanders now. But if you're a sports fan that has ever played the Madden video games, I would highly recommend looking up Ethan Albright's letter to John Madden about his rating in the game.
Yep,
it is one of the funniest things you'll read. So happy birthday to Ethan Albright.
All right, I'm going to do this because this has been a real theme of the night. So, Josh, what did you learn in your internship? Hot dogs. Chocolate. So let's go to Scott's in Grafton. Scott.
Joe, man, you are the reason I own an air fryer.
Well, I'm glad to know that.
Like you, one of the first times I listened to you, you told me you air fried broccoli and loved it. It lit my life on fire. Thank you for my education.
Yeah, again, this was during COVID. I'd never used it before, and it was amazing. I put this morning. I put sausages in the air fryer.
I've thrown slices of cheese on aluminum foil in the air fryer with a little bit of red pepper flake on there, and just fried that son of a gun up. You can put it on anything. Your tongue, a piece of ham, some eggs. Like you could dip it in ranch dressing. Air fryer is my Christ appliance.
Do you ever put a hot dog in there?
Oh my God, hot dogs! That's why I called. So I'm Worcester County, Grafton, Worcester, whatever. Have you been to George's Coney Island hot dogs?
I've heard of it, never been there. I've been to Hot Dog Annie's though.
Oh, I grew up in Framingham and Natick. I used to go to
Casey's.
Nick's Hot Dogs.
Casey's Hot
Dogs. Casey's Hot Dogs.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yes, I got my interior of my 70 Skylark done two blocks from there.
I know the.
God Almighty!
I used to work at a car dealership right there. But yes, I know the.
Casey's is great.
Casey's is great.
I've had that before. Casey's is great.
They have really good cheeseburgers. Ben's in New Hampshire. Ben.
Hey, Joe. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
I wanted to tell you I grew up out in Western Mass, like pretty far out. And we used to go to a place called Papa Jim's Exotic Hot Dog Stand. It was like a trailer in an abandoned gas station. He had like 30 different dogs. Like we're talking goulash dog, mac and cheese, broccoli, and cheddar. But for dessert, everyone that went there got the skunk dog. It was peanut butter, chocolate, and marshmallow, and it was amazing. I've never been sober or straight there, but, dude, I cannot tell you how good that was. And everyone said the same thing. It's disgusting. And then they tried it. Amazing, dude. This place was so ahead of its time 20 years ago. I don't know what to say, but I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you. Skunk Doug. All right, let's break. There's about a minute 19 left in the game. We'll find out who's going to win, and we'll get Josh's reaction here on the Sports Hub.
Oh, my God, hot dogs. That's why I called.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. Zolak and Bertrand get you through the midday. Joe Murray gets you right through the night.
I actually spoke with women today.
On the Sports Hub.
right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. We're awaiting the outcome of Game 6 right now between the Pistons and New York Knicks. Under a minute to go. It's 113-111 Detroit. Josh Barbara has been our winter intern. Tonight's his last night. He's done an excellent job. He does play-by-play for Dean College. He's been doing graphics for us, cutting video. He's got an excellent voice. He's going to be a future broadcaster. It's his last night tonight, but he's also a New York Knicks fan. How about your clutch player of the year, Jalen Brunson? How's he looking right now, Josh?
Well, currently he has the ball, so we're going to take a look. I'll make my decision after this possession currently. Step back, mid-ranger, off the mark. Put back.
Oh!
Bridges put back to tie it. There we go.
Who was that with the putback?
Mikal Bridges.
He was the big offseason acquisition, right?
I would say Cat was the big offseason acquisition. Obviously, Mikal Bridges, we got him, gave up a boatload of draft picks for him. But I mean,
give us a little. Set this up. Don't do real play-by-play, but give us like a, give us like a soft play-by-play of what's happening. Give us set the screen for all our listeners.
All right. Well, currently a timeout just got called by Josh Hart near the baseline, so now the Knicks and Pistons are walking back to their benches.
How much time is left? What's the score?
Well, hang on. They just took the. Oh, I got it right here. It's 113, 20.6 seconds.
Do it like you're a play-by-play guy.
Oh, okay. Can I do that when there's something happening?
Yeah, we can't do it live, but you can do it now, though.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're in a timeout. Set it up. Go.
All right, here we go. Currently, all right.
Set the scene. Currently in Detroit right now, I'm Josh Barber. Blah.
All right, perfect. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Detroit. My name is Josh Barber. Alongside me is Joe Murray. What a nail-biter, a thrilling finish right here. The Knicks and the Pistons coming down to the wire. It's Game 6. Will the Pistons be able to force a Game 7 on home court, or will the Knicks advance tonight with a win to play the Boston Celtics in the second round? Like I said before, the score 113, 20.6 seconds remaining. Let's go over some statistics here. The main storyline, Jalen Brunson, 37 points on the night. He is 14 of 32 from the field as a whole. However, his partner in crime, that being Karl Anthony Towns, only with 10 points on the night. However, 15 rebounds, 10 defensive, 5 offensive. Been trying to get some second chance opportunities for the Knicks going here. Brunson also 7 of 8 from the free throw line, kind of showing the haters out there that are saying that he's a flopper and a free throw merchant, hey, I could still get it done and put up 30 without even shooting any free throws at the end of the day. So as the teams return to the quarter play at a timeout here.
Who gets the ball?
It will be Knicks ball as they called the timeout. Josh Hart called the timeout near the baseline. Got Dennis Schroeder coming out onto the court here. Knicks have it across half court, setting up an inbounds play. Shot clock turned off as there is only 20.6 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. Bridges inbounds it on over to Brunson.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, now we can't.
You watch now, because you're the fan here. We're back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. 12 seconds left in the game. We'll tell you an outcome here of what happens between the Knicks. What happened?
That's why he's the clutch player of the year, Joe. That's why he's the clutch player of the year.
He chef's kiss. You see that?
That's why he's the clutch player of the year. No, I'm not supposed to be a fan, but tonight I got to feel like a fan.
Oh,
I gotta feel like
if you were a play-by-play announcer, you know we're going to save that, right?
Oh, I absolutely know that. 4.3 seconds remaining. Jalen Brunson knocks down a 3 from the top of the key. 116.
All right.
13 Knicks.
How much time's left?
4.3.
Who's the best shooter on Detroit right now?
I'm giving it to Cade Cunningham. How can you not give it to him? That's the guy. That's the franchise player. You want the ball in his hands. You want him to have his playoff moment. He's really elevated his game to another level here in the playoffs. I think that's the guy that you got to give the ball to down the stretch, and he's the guy that's got to have the ball in his hands in this particular situation. Not to mention, I mean, currently he's got 23. And I mean, the Pistons have really spread out the scoring here tonight. They have, what is that, 5 guys in double figures, including Malik Beasley off the bench with 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, they're really spreading the wealth tonight.
Something, too, the Pistons are 1 for 12 from beyond the arc in the second half. So someone's going to have to step up and hit a 3 here if they're going to extend this thing.
All right, Josh, 4.3 seconds left. If the Knicks win, they go on to play who?
They go on to play the Boston Celtics, Joe. That's who they go on to play. We'll get Boston versus New York in the second round, so that'll be fun at least.
Okay. So you think it's Cade Cunningham who gets the ball here?
Well, he's actually inbounding it, so now I don't know.
And he gets the ball back. Oh, you idiots!
That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, Joe. What can I say? Woo! All right, there you go. We got New York versus Boston second round. With that being said, I think Celtics in 5. I'm just going to say it straight up. I'm a very real fan. I'm a fan of the team, but I'm also like I think realistically here, it's probably going to be Celtics in 5. The Knicks currently are 0-4 against the Celtics this year. Everybody knows that. The Knicks haven't been able to beat the Celtics, the Cavs, or the Thunder in the regular season. It's the whole narrative coming into the playoffs. Now they get to play against the Celtics. Mano a mano. Second round of the playoffs. Chance at the Eastern Conference Finals on the line. Let's see what happens. But like I said, I do think personally Celtics in 5. Just off rip.
I think New York just stole that game.
They absolutely did.
But they finished on an 11-1 run?
Yeah, the Pistons had it won.
That was
the
a
Pistons
choke.
were on a 24-3 run before that.
That's a choke, right?
That's a choke.
Yeah.
I mean, not for nothing, but did the New York blow the game too? Yes. But they hung in there against an inexperienced team. And you're right. I mocked the clutch player of the year for turning the ball over. Detroit should have put the game away, and they didn't. That's the difference between a veteran-laden team versus an inexperienced team. Like, the Celtics had so much success early on with their young players, would get to the not to the mountaintop, but would get right to the start and get beat by Miami, who would grind it out, or even Golden State, who were champions and were better than them.
The one that I think of mainly is LeBron in 2018, like when they got beat, that Game 7.
Yep.
That Game 7, that entire series.
They had no point being there. They were the best of, like, Brad Stevens led them there, and but they lost to Jeff Green.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't lose to, you know what I mean, like the star
Channing
player.
Frye,
you know what I mean? Like, you're right. They blew that game. And it's, by the way, that was the Terry Rozier game, right?
Yes, it was the Terry Rozier game, Jim.
Yeah. Still smelling that one.
Mm-hmm. Will be for a long time.
All right. Well, Josh, the New York Knicks have made it to the second round. Was this what the expectations were?
This is what the expectation was. I always expected them to make it past the Pistons. At one point, I was thinking to myself, maybe there's a chance. Initially, I said I would rather play the Bucks over the Pistons because the Pistons are a scrappy young team. They have nothing to lose, and they're going to play you hard all 48 minutes of the game. And that's exactly what we got for 6 games of a series. People are going to say New York stole 2 of them. People are going to say New York possibly stole 3 of them because of the officiating and because people like to say that Jalen Brunson is, a free throw merchant. With that being said, we saw what happened.
You used the word free throw merchant a lot.
Yeah, because that's the narrative, Joe. That's the narrative around
Jason Tatum a merchant?
No, I wouldn't say Jason Tatum is necessarily a free throw merchant.
He's gone to the free throw line more than anybody, hasn't he, in the playoffs?
I mean, numbers don't lie, Joe. But at the same time, it all depends. Like, is he trying to initiate the contact? Is he flopping? Like, there's certain ways to go about it. Like what SGA and
Brunson's
Brunson,
a fish.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a certain way to go about it. If Jason Tatum's driving hard to the paint and he's actually making physical contact with somebody and not trying to actually draw a foul or win an Oscar or an Emmy award, I mean that's in my opinion, there's 2 different types of drawing a foul.
All right, I have the opening odds for Game 1 right now. Celtics minus 8.5 on Monday. Over under 219. Let me get you your. What do you think the playoff odds are? The series odds.
Series odds. I'm going to take Knicks at plus 300. So Celtics minus 300 to win the series. I would say.
So series markets right now: Boston, New York, Celtics minus 800.
Oh wow! All right.
Holy smoke!
Wow, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. wider of a margin than I expected.
Wow. So I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I think the Celtics win that series, plus 550 for New York's juicy.
Yeah.
Can they catch the Celtics after a series like that?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think so. And we were talking about this on Tuesday, actually, when we were talking about, the Celtics are now going to have some extra time to rest, right? The Knicks already don't have much depth with their bench whatsoever, and we know that Tibbs likes to run his guys, especially his starters, like 40 minutes a game. So with that being said, those two things coming into the equation, I don't necessarily think that the Knicks will be able to keep up with the Celtics. I think that the Knicks will get one win, but I think at the end of the day, with what the Knicks have and with what the Celtics have and with the time that the Celtics have had to rest, get their star players back to not fully healthy, but back to healthy enough where they're going to be feeling good come game one, I think that the Celtics will take care of business in 5 games.
I think New York bailed themselves out from going 7 and being exhausted and losing in Boston 2 straight.
Yeah. Tonight, especially. An 11-1 run in what? Like the last minute and 20 seconds of the game? Maybe minute?
Where were you 12 years ago? Celtics and Knicks. Knicks beat the Celtics in the playoffs.
12 years ago.
I was like the Rondo Celtics, right?
In 8th grade. I was 8 years old. I was in 3rd grade. In Miss Harris's classroom. Shout out Miss Harris.
Miss Harris.
Yeah, shout out Miss Harris.
So you think Boston? And what would you bet him in? 5? You said?
Yeah, I'll take him in 5. You know the meme, Lakers in 5. Well, it became Wolves in 5, and now it's going to be Celtics in 5 against the Knicks, in my opinion. Even though I'm a Knicks fan, at the end of the day, I have to be real with myself and realize, hey, Tom Thibodeau is not the coach to get this done. We've seen some of the coaching decisions that he's made down the stretch in games, especially in Game 5 and in Game 4 and in Game 3. So, I mean, basically the entire series up to this point. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go with Celtics in 5. I don't think Tom Thibodeau's a championship caliber coach. I think at the end of the day, if I'm the general manager or owner of the New York Knicks, I'm going out and I'm getting Mike Malone. I'm going to be like, sorry, Tom, listen, we love you. You've done a great thing for this organization, turning it around, but we got to win a championship, and we're going to have to go separate ways if that's going to happen.
Well, not for nothing, but New York built their team to go up against Boston. So that's why I'm going to ask Skaz, do you think this plus 550 is juicy for you at all?
I mean, the number is certainly juicy. I just don't know if there's any real value there.
Minus 800, dude.
Yeah, that's surprising. I thought it would have been 6, maybe 5.
Yeah, maybe 550.
Yeah, in that range, but 8. Wow. But I think that just kind of goes to Josh's point and to your point and Kyle's earlier, where the Knicks in the regular season couldn't beat the best teams in the league. I think the Knicks
19, right?
Yes, something staggering like that. So I think the Knicks are a very good team. I just think they're a tier below the Celtics, the Cavs, the Thunder. I think they're that next tier. And they're certainly not the defensive team the Magic were. So I think the Celtics are going to be able to play more Missoula ball against the Knicks.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Tatum's doing 35, 36, 37 against Orlando.
Yeah.
What's he going to do? And he loves playing in New York.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's not even so much about Tatum. It's more White,
everybody else,
Holiday, Hauser, Pritchard,
Hauser,
and Porzingis has notoriously gone off against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. So I think he's kind of I don't think the Celtics are a good matchup for Cat or for Brunson because the Celtics have big guards, big defensive guards like Derek White, Holiday, and Porzingis is a big who can move like Cat can move. So I just think the matchups for the Knicks, the Celtics are a really bad matchup.
And just going off your points, Skaz, there, not only are the matchups bad, but you got to look at these matchups. When the matchups in the regular season weren't good, and that's when the team was basically, rested and not necessarily fully healthy, but healthy to a point where they could go out and compete with the Celtics. But now you're coming off of a 6-game series that wasn't just like a walk in the park 6-game series here. Like this was a grind 6-game series. Every single game was down to the wire, and now you got to go up against in my opinion, the best team in the league in the Boston Celtics. I just don't see it happening. I can't see it. That's me as a fan.
Well, Sarko, good friend of the show, wants to say hello to Josh. Sarko!
Yo, what's going on, Joe? How you doing, brother?
How you doing? New York Knicks, Boston, baby.
Yeah, that's what's up. You know what, man? I feel sorry for Josh, man. I was right now, I didn't get to tell Trent, you know what I'm saying, last night, but, You know what it is.
We gave him your love.
Josh, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said we gave him your love.
Of course, but I feel sorry for Josh. But hey, man, I love the Josh man on whatever he does from now on. But it's not going to be good, man. The Celtics are going to. That's it. I mean, I'm not worried about the Knicks at all. Is what I'm saying.
I wouldn't be worried about the Knicks either, Sarko. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tom is in San Antonio. Tom.
Hey, Sarko kind of stole my thunder a little bit. Wanted to go and throw a little bit of shine over to Josh there. Mad respect on how he called that game. Sounded fantastic. Did want to ask Joe, though, if anybody were to ever make you a Joe Show ice cream, what would it be?
Half watermelon sherbet, half chocolate chip cookie dough with chocolate sprinkles on it with whipped cream, and I really, really like...
no, but like in a pint.
Oh. Well, I've discussed
if I were to go and make you one of these as like a pint and send it to the Joe Show.
So my buddies own a company called Churn & Co. They're up in the North Shore. And we've discussed this, but it's probably some sort of watermelon sherbet / vanilla cookie dough kind of thing.
Okay. Gotcha.
Are you an ice cream maker?
No, I'm just an amateur chef there. I'm also in the chat, Searing with Sear.
You're in the chat?
So, yeah, Searing with Sear, CYR.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Crying watch a couple times.
Do you have
I'm that guy.
You have a YouTube guy? You have a YouTube?
No, it has no videos on it. I just made it so I could actually chime in on your chat.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Maybe you could, make some things and we'll talk about it on the show.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'd love to go and make some stuff, send it to you, see how you like it. Like,
all right.
Just let me know.
Right. Thanks, Tom. Oh, I hung up on him. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. We got to go to break. Obviously, this is our last headline of the night here, Josh.
Yes.
So we wanted to send you out in style. Do you need a minute? Because I can set it up for you.
I'm good to go whenever you need.
All right, everybody. Josh Barbara from Hartford, Connecticut goes to Dean College. Final night here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Will be going off to, who knows? But he'll give us our final headline of the night right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics finally have their opponent in the New York Knicks after the Knicks defeated the Pistons tonight on the road by a score of 116-113. Jalen Brunson dropped 40 points in the win, including the game.
We got a full show. Kentucky Derby. Not the flex, but I've hit the Derby winner and I've placed the last 5 years. I mean, I've picked a horse to finish in the top 3 every year. Oh, it's so easy to do. Well, you do it. So tomorrow we're going to do some Derby talk. That should be fun. Josh, before you go.
Yes.
Again, Josh Barber, it's his last night. What'd you think of the Red Sox loss tonight?
They got to find some fight, Joe. They got to find some sort of fight, especially behind the plate, especially at the plate, I should say. At the plate, they got to find something. Something's got to get going for them.
This is back-to-back nights where their starter went 6 innings. Tonight, 7 innings. And then a reliever comes in and blows the game. And the bullpen's been very good up until the last 2 nights. But back-to-back nights now, you get good starting pitching. The hitting goes early on, and they get shut down after the 6th inning. It's a common theme on this team. And, dude, I said it before tonight. 40 games. If you're under 23, you don't make the playoffs. You think this is a playoff team?
Guess we'll have to see.
Do you think they're a playoff team?
All right.
This is me trying to get an answer out of you.
I'm gonna have to go with no.
Me too.
I personally don't think.
I
so.
think they have the potential.
They can, but currently the way that they're playing, I just no.
I'd go youth movement. I know 40 games. It's hard to flip that switch, but Cassis ain't got it.
No.
And I do like their outfield.
What's he batting right now? 181.
He sucked again tonight. Actually, he had a hit tonight. I'll give him that. But he's batting 184 with 2 strikeouts. And they're batting him. Tonight they did put him 6th. That's a hole in their lineup. Ruff Schneider actually had 1 for 4 with 324 in the year. I know that they're going to tell you, hey, it's still early, da-da-da-da-da, but Roman Anthony's calling, dude. Marcelo Mayer, like I would rather just play those guys than watch Trevor Story and Tristan Cassis. And maybe you might have to try Devers at first. I know he's short, but can he do it?
Maybe. Well, here's the thing. You won't know unless you try. And I think that you got to try something before it gets to like the point of like where you're the Bruins of this season and you kind of just like you're kind of floating in that middle ground for a little bit and then you kind of go, just something, just you got to do something because the Bruins were floating in the middle ground for a hot minute and then all of a sudden they fell off and I feel like I could see that this Red Sox team kind of going in the same direction possibly, but like I said, only time will tell.
All right, Josh. You got 5 minutes to go here. Mm-hmm. What was the best part of your internship?
Best part of my internship, honestly, I'd probably say getting to learn all of the skills that I wanted to learn. Like probably the design element of it. I've wanted to get better at graphic design, and I feel like through this internship, that's really helped me. I've been able to grow my skills a little bit more, and they're still maybe not perfect or not where I want them to be, but I've seen a huge progression in them, and I'm very excited.
I agree. Do you think we've set you straight?
Yes.
Like transparent?
Yes. You're
like
very
didn't kiss your ass?
No.
This is what you got to do to be good?
No. You've been straightforward the entire time, and I was upfront with you. I said, listen, that's how I want it because that's the only way to get better. At the end of the day, the only way to get better is by if you're given feedback, and you got to realize not all feedback is going to be positive, and you could take the positive feedback, give yourself a pat on the back, but you got to take that negative feedback and kind of retool whatever you did.
So now you get that all the graphics you've been doing and the video that you've been doing, you can now apply to the stuff that you're going to do, right?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Talking on this here is easy for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy for me.
Yeah.
It's all the other stuff.
Yeah.
That's the job.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do all that stuff behind the scenes? Because this is the easiest part of the job. How do we get it all out to more people? Here, we're a gigantic platform with the highest ratings in, the area.
Yeah.
How do you get it now when you're not on the highest platform and get it out there to people? That's the work.
Mm-hmm. We'll embark on that journey coming up within the next week.
And listen, I'll say there's a million kids who go to Syracuse or some of these big schools. They're going to be polished and all that. You just got to separate yourself.
Yeah.
You got to do more things to be valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Because in these days, they want to hire people who can do multiple things. And if you can't, you're going to be left out.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't do everything, it's like it's like the Patriots. They don't want guys that just are wide receivers. Can you play wide? Can you do kickoffs? Can you be on kick return team? Can you do punts? They want multiple positions.
Got to be an Edelman. Got to be an Edelman.
Got to be a guy. And he played defense, too.
Yeah.
Before we go, there was one great topic that I remember talking with you about. Eli Manning, is he a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
In a minute or less. Why?
All right, Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer, one of the best, one of the better, I would say, postseason, playoff quarterbacks in recent memory. He took his team to 2 Super Bowls, and on top of that, I mean, you got to look, and I remember this argument too. It's because somebody said that Jalen Hurts deserves to be in the Hall. Like, he thinks that Jalen Hurts would be in the Hall of Fame over Eli Manning currently, off of that 1 Super Bowl win. And let me tell you why not. Eli Manning did not have as good of a team surrounding him as Jalen Hurts did. Jalen Hurts had Saquon Barkley, who set the single-season rushing record. He had the best offensive line in the league as well, and they have a play literally made for him on 4th and 1 that people are trying to get banned. The Giants didn't have a play that the NFL is trying to get banned. So I don't want anybody telling me that Jalen Hurts deserves to be in the Hall of Fame over Eli Manning, especially currently when Eli Manning beat arguably the greatest team of all time, which was the undefeated Patriots, and ended the undefeated season. I know that you guys on the Boston airwaves hate hearing that, but guess what? That's life. That's what happened, and Eli Manning is the proud daddy of your franchise.
Well said. What's going to happen with the Giants this year?
Nothing good, Joe.
Is Drake May good?
Drake May is good. I like Drake May. I think I am a Drake May guy. I think now having Will Campbell, another really likable guy. You got 2 likable guys. One's the blindside blocker. I heard you want this nickname? I saw it on TikTok. The Bayou Bodyguard for Will Campbell. The Bayou Bodyguard. I like that.
Before we leave, Skaz, I know we have some sound that we need to play for everybody. The New York Knicks are chanting something outside of Madison Square Garden tonight.
Please stop chanting that. Please.
So again,
I need no. See, this is the issue. Knicks fans, you get one win, you get so crazy. Can we realize what we've been? Terrible team historically, my entire lifetime. Let's win with some grace and with some respect. With that being said, let's bring on Boston and see what happens.
All right, Josh. Great job on your internship. Great road ahead, buddy. You'll be play-by-play something.